Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to another edition of She Loves Thee SWAC Saturday on a Tuesday. By special request from none other than Mr. Ford. He told me that I can't take no breaks, no time off. So hopefully he'll make his grand appearance because, we have a lot to talk about, but I be wanting to take a break. Evening, everyone. Drink of choice tonight, Tropicana lemonade. Come get your lemonade, baby. Watch my cords so my light doesn't turn off. We're going to be sipping on lemonade tonight. Brax is in the house. Cutting up per usual. Say hi.
Hi.
Come say hi.
Hi.
They can't see you.
Hi. Do you see my shout? Hi.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Being extra.
Hi.
Okay, here. Be careful. Tropicana for me. Here you go.
Well, it's vibrating.
So, of course, we're going to start off tonight's live with some non-HBCU related items. If you have any that you would like to discuss, please feel free to let me know.
That's black stained glass.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. So the first thing that I want to talk about, because I've been following it, there was a tourist that fell into an active volcano in Indonesia. They were on like a hiking expedition and she fell and they abandoned her, basically, a local hiking guide. And they did try to rescue her. So I'll be reading that first. Somebody said hi to you.
Hi, Tiger Nation.
Wait, let me do this. Do. Her name is Juliana Marins. No, please don't. All right.
Hi, Trent Walker.
She was 26 years old. She's a Brazilian citizen. She slipped and fell down a cliff Saturday morning from a trail that overlooks Mount Rajani's famous crater lake. She descended deep into the volcano, but drone footage confirms she miraculously survived the more than 1,000-foot slide. So basically, they successfully monitored using a drone in a position stuck on a rock cliff at a depth of 500 meters and visually motionless. This is an equivalent to 1,600 feet, but reports say Marin had slipped further into the volcano since her initial fall on Saturday. Marin's condition remained unclear on day 3 of her being in the volcano, but the BBC reports rescuers heard screams for help on Saturday. A massive rescue mission is underway, but attempts to reach her by helicopter were called off due to poor weather, including thick fog conditions, extreme terrain, and dynamic weather. For the safety, the rescue team was pulled back to a safe position. So unfortunately, they did not get to her in time. The update for that is, of course, they did recover her body, but unfortunately she passed away. So she plunged into the volcano around 6:30 a.m. local time Saturday. So after she fell, they continued on, and the guy didn't stay with her. A friend of Marin said in a video statement that the hiker's loved ones, including her parents, learned she was missing from social media. She alleged that Indonesian officials have provided conflicting updates about Marin's status, including a false claim that she had been reached and provided with food and water. We're living in a nightmare here, the friend said. Marina said that her sister was making the trek with a small group of 5 hikers and a single guide. She said her sister spent an hour resting alone before her tragic slip at sunrise. She didn't know where to go. She didn't know what to do. When the guide came back because he saw that she was taking too long, he saw that she had fallen down there. Marin's posted photos from Indonesia to Instagram last week showing her hiking, scuba diving, playing cards, and doing yoga in the Pacific island chain. She also shared a photo of herself with a large hiking backpack. It's so sad. She's from Niterói near Rio de Janeiro. She works as a publicist. The Brazilian embassy in Jakarta is facilitating contact between the family and the company responsible for the tour, according to Brazil TV. The embassy did not respond to a request for information. So the update is that she did unfortunately pass. So tragic to have to hear that they were unable to rescue her. Pop Light. I know she won't do that. She passed away, Pop Light. But you know what? It just goes to show you that, you know, when you take these expeditions, because I know a couple years ago for my birthday, I went to Puerto Rico, right? And we literally found a hiking expedition to the Puerto Rico mountains. And no, it wasn't. It was like a waterfall. We went to a Puerto Rico waterfall or something like that. And we were jumping into that weird ass water and going down those rock waterfalls like it wasn't nothing. And I come back and think about it like, wow, that was one of those expeditions that you book online for like $100 a piece, right? But, you know, you're actually in a lot of danger, right? Because if something happens to you, the ability for you to get quality medical attention and all that, it's pretty slim, right? And so, you know, it's one of those risks that you take because there's a lot of local tour guides who they will do these expeditions and you'll pay like a small fee, but you know, tragically they weren't trained or they didn't have the resources to pull her out. So prayers to her family. You know what? I am so sorry, y'all, because I have more than one announcement for someone who passed away to begin our show. I'm sorry that I'm starting the show off like that. Braxton, no, baby.
I'll go first.
No, we're not doing that while I'm literally doing a live. What's that ring? No. Here, you keep yours right here. I'll keep mine right here. We're not getting ready to play that while I'm live. He's trying to play cards. All right. Sir, can you please go that way with that drinking? I apologize for that. I do enough exploring while hunting and fishing. Yeah. That's when folks take these exotic trips and stuff like that. It's something that happens. You take an exotic trip, and the experiences are once in a lifetime, and they're amazing. But her accident and then her tragic death just puts into perspective, the risk that you can take by doing it. What is wrong with you? Lord have mercy. All right. Here's something that I saw that I wanted to share. This is crazy. Lamar Jackson has 6,173 rushing yards as a quarterback. Look at this. Christian McCaffrey, he is one of the most talented. He's a little bit injury prone, or maybe he was only injury prone at the Panthers, but he has 6,387 rushing yards. Christian McCaffrey is one of those highly touted running backs. What y'all think about that? That's GOAT status, ain't it? Stop. Okay, you need to get down and move. Go ahead. You probably should go to sleep or something. Maybe you're overwhelmed because you didn't take a nap. Did you take a nap today? Oh. Oh, God, Ed. Please. Ed, please. Please. Shador hasn't even gotten to the NFL yet. Just hold on. Lamar Jackson and all his greatness, the one thing that he's missing. Everybody put it in the chat. What is the one thing that Lamar Jackson is missing? He had injuries with the Niners too. Oh, okay. So Christian McCaffrey entered into the NFL in 2017, and Lamar Jackson entered the NFL in 2018. Dang! That's a whole year later, and he's right there. So Lamar Jackson entered into the NFL draft in 2018 and was drafted to the Baltimore Ravens. Of course, we know Christian McCaffrey was entered into the NFL draft in 2017. And so Christian McCaffrey has a whole year on Lamar Jackson, but now let's just keep it a buck. Christian McCaffrey's had some injuries. But yeah, he's like that. Lamar can retire right now and be in the Hall of Fame. But he doesn't have a Super Bowl title, Super Bowl ring. Go. For real, get off me, please. Please. Oh, why don't you warm up some Tostitos rolls? Lamar is missing coaching. Coaching staff isn't elite. Oh, God. They have, I don't know. I feel like they have an elite team. Like, y'all keep on making excuses. They have a pretty elite team. A very well-rounded roster. What is it that they need? They have Mark Andrews at tight end. He's pretty good. Right? Right, Ed? Wouldn't you say they're pretty well-rounded? Zay Flowers at wide receiver. They got Derrick Henry at running back. DeAndre Hopkins. I'm going to make you go to bed. I promise you I am. I'll make you go to bed. I know, but just because you're bored doesn't mean you got to aggravate me on purpose.
I'm not aggravating.
LeJounte Webster is from Colorado. That's he was pretty good. You know, they have Alabama A&M Carson Benson, of course. Their defense always came up short when it mattered. Ooh. Mr. Ford coming up. Oh, okay, here's Mr. Ford. Yeah, he's early today. That's what I like to see, Mr. Ford. Get on up here. Oh, wait. Sorry, that's not right. You mentioning bench players. Well, Ed, mention then mention the players then. Mention the players. Mention who it is then, Ed. Who's the starters then? A solid, balanced team. Hey, Mr. Ford.
Hey, Mr. Mona, can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Ford. We are here. Oh, She Loves Thee SWAC Saturday on a Tuesday.
Oh yeah. Hey,
especially
hey, everybody.
For you.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. I hope everybody's doing good.
Yes, we are. How you been? You enjoying your time off? It's winding down, ain't it?
Yeah, and it's been hot now. We in the midst of a, we had the rain. Was it last week or the week before? But now we got the heat, baby. We got the heat right now. They talking about 102 here tomorrow.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we were 90. We were 97 or 98 today.
I think walking out the door, we were already in the 8, and I got up real early because I had to.
Yeah, we were 83 this morning.
We was already 80s.
That's right. It was 83 this morning. I went out to walk at 8, and I think by because I walk an hour, it was 83 when I left. I might have been hotter than that. Yeah.
Yesterday I took Braxton to the pool, and I tried to get there at 10, right when it opened.
Right.
So the pool, I feel like at the pool it was decent. You just have to have on sunscreen.
But did you hear something about a heat advisory in Chicago, right?
Chicago? I know we're the one.
Yeah, but something about Chicago. They had a heat advisory in the city of Chicago.
Got all that steel and all. It's like steel and.
Hey, did anybody hear about that? About a heat advisory in this.
It says near record temperatures could hit Chicago as.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought I heard something about Chicago, and then they got those houses. You got those older black people living in those houses without air conditioning. They living off, the electrical fans and stuff.
The heat index is nearly 105 degrees.
Yeah.
Dr. Carey said we had a heat wave for 3 days. It ended today.
Okay, now with Dr. Carey's in Chicago?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought I heard something about Chicago and the heat advisory there. Yeah, I thought I heard that. Yeah.
Well, Mr. Ford, I'm so glad that you're on tonight because the SWAC released their attendees and the coaches that will be attending, of course, for SWAC Media Day. So we're going to talk about that today. And then what else is happening in the SWAC? We already talked about the revenue for FCS. We did that on the last show. So our main focus for today's show, of course, was going to be those SWAC media attendees because it's looking like, the rosters are shaping up.
Oh yeah. It's time now. They're 4 weeks away from camp, right? what is it, 4 or 5 weeks?
I want to say
It's the last week in July.
3.5. The kids are on campus already. Some of the kids are already on campus.
But I'm saying they, because Southern and North Carolina Central, they have to start practicing the last week in July because their game is in August. Their game is the 23rd of August, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they've got to be on campus that last week in July.
Said he can't wait. Said Brass, he's from Prairie View, Mr. Ford.
Oh, listen, and let me tell you this. That's another thing. We're doing a good job with these podcasts, but we've got to do a better job with print media. And let me tell you what happened today. I went out to Cumberland Mall to the Barnes and Nobles, and it was 2 magazines that was out on college football. One was called Lindy, and the other one was called Athlon. Well, here's the thing. Athlon didn't mention anybody except the FBS schools. Now, Lindy did mention FCS, but it was like a page. And then they mentioned something about Division II. But here's the problem. Okay, what they said about the MEAC, they said that, Michael Vick is in the MEAC, and they said that the MEAC is going to come down to South Carolina State and North Carolina Central.
Who is saying this?
This was Lindy. You can look it up.
Okay.
It's a magazine called Lindy. I read through it today. Lindy, Lindy. They do they do college football. But anyway, then they said about the SWAC. Of course, they said Jackson State was the premier program. Then they had they talked a little bit about. They said that Florida A&M biggest question mark was quarterback, and then they listed Florida A&M is number 2 to Jackson. Then they listed Alabama State, and then they had Alabama A&M, and then Valley at the bottom. But here's the thing that why I said we got to do a better job of doing with print. Now, with all of that stuff that's going on at Prairie View and bringing in all them players, you bringing in Coach Jackson, they had Prairie View listed as next to last. They had, wait a minute. They had the last place team was Pine Bluff. Then they had Prairie View. Then they had, I want to say, was it Texas Southern? And then they had Alcorn at number 2. And then they had Southern. Now, here's what I'm saying. It's obvious them people they not covering our schools. So we're going to have to do it ourselves because that don't make no sense. How could you, with all that stuff that's going on in Prairie View, how could you list them next to last in the SWAC West? All I'm going to say is this. They not covering our schools. They just putting anything down. They not covering our schools, and we got to cover them ourselves.
Well, Mr. Ford, it would be interesting to hear where your rankings are standing for the SWAC West on June 24th. Where you're standing at.
Well, I got Prairie View 1. I got Prairie View 1.
You have Prairie View 1 over Southern, who just won the SWAC West.
I got Prairie View 1.
Lionel done talked you up so heavy, boy.
No. I like
you got Prairie
what's that man's name? What's that coach's name?
Go get me a Coach Tremaine Jackson. Go get me
I'm a Tremaine Jackson fan. I told you I watched him last year. We saw that there. I'm trying to think. Was it on ESPN Plus? I saw Prairie View. Not Prairie View. Valdosta State. I watched about 3 of their games in the playoffs. Right. I watched them play Miles College. I watched them play Virginia Union, I think, and I saw them lose that game to Ferris. Was it Ferris State?
Yeah. And you're talking about the championship game right before he left.
Yeah. But now listen, I've told you I look at things, I was a coach. Mm-hmm. So of course, I'm looking at coaching. And by the way, let me say this. You were saying what's the missing link to the Baltimore Ravens? It's a guy named Ozzie Newsome. They haven't been the same. When Ozzie was there, Ozzie had them as a Super Bowl contender and a Super Bowl winner. And I think he retired. But their biggest problem is not on the field, it's in the front office. And what I mean, but they haven't replaced Ozzie Newsome. They haven't gotten a general manager, the equivalent of Ozzie or better than Ozzie. That's been their problem. Because people don't understand in professional sports, the front office is very important. Okay.
All right. Yes, okay. Because of course they are responsible for the gelling of the team. You know, sometimes these front
and
office,
the personnel,
they mess with the coaches and what they choose.
Yeah.
I know. For
instance, you know, Ozzie was trained by he was trained by Bill Belichick. Ozzie was trained by Bill Ozzie is an all-time great Cleveland Brown. I'm talking about the real Cleveland Browns before they moved to Baltimore. You know, he was a big-time tight end for them. But he worked in the front office with Bill Belichick.
You hear that, Ed? The Ravens ain't been the same since Ozzie Newsome left. All right,
yeah,
we're not gonna like go over the rankings now, but I want you to list them so that for a future show I'll have them on the side. So you said Prairie View's at 1, UAPB is at 5. Who's next? Southern's at 2. Who you got? Southern or Alcorn or?
Yeah, I'll go with Southern at 2.
Okay, who's third?
I'll go with that's kind of hard. I'm gonna have to go Texas Southern. My problem, let me say this. I love Cedric Thomas. I like what he does, but I still say that they got offensive problems from the coaching. I'm still not impressed with the offensive coordinator position. I got to see if that offensive line is going to gel, which I think it will. And then, you know, I told you they interviewed Cedric last year, and he blamed everything on the quarterback last year, which I had some problems with the offensive coordination. Okay. And so I'm going to have to go with Texas Southern over Alcorn.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
So
in the SWAC East, of course, we have none other than the Jackson State Tigers coming in at number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2.
I'm gonna have to go FAM.
Oh gosh.
I'm gonna have to go
coming in at number 2, Alabama State at number 3, or you got Sam Shea, Alabama A&M?
You know, I like Sam Shade. I like Sam. You know, I'm the same thing that with Jackson. You know, I went to the homecoming last year at Clark Atlanta. I was so impressed. I had seen him on film, but it's a difference when you see. I'm gonna have to go with Sam Shade. You know, I look at his staff. I know what they're doing. And by the way, you see the state of Alabama came down on Alabama A&M. Did you hear that?
Wait, what?
Yeah, they're accusing them of misappropriation of funds. Just pull up state.
Wait a minute. You done dropped some tea, Mr. Ford. All right, finish out these. You over there talking about they done came down on who? Alabama A&M?
A&M. Yeah, they made some serious charges against A&M.
I'm getting ready to look it up.
Look up the state of Alabama charges or makes accusations against Alabama A&M's finances. You see it?
That's T. So Jackson State, FAMU, Alabama A&M. Then we're coming in with Alabama State. Mind you, Alabama State ain't lost a game. Well, we got an Alabama A&M alum coming in the chat real quick. He hopped up on here quick.
Oh yeah, what's his name?
Wow, Wade. Okay.
Yeah, ask him what happened. I saw something in our paper to ask him, is there something going on with the state claiming that A&M about funds? Because I know it was something about athletics, and then it was something else.
Hey, Wade, how you doing?
Yeah. Well, hey, bro, is that
I am well. What's up to everybody?
Yeah,
I'm here, man. What's up to everybody out there in SWAC land?
Oh, yeah. Now,
everybody
is that true?
Everybody good?
Yeah, what about these accusations? Are they true? Did you see that first of all, or they just put something in the media?
I did see them.
Okay, I thought I saw something.
And it really is accusations. It's nothing that's
Okay,
really been
okay.
completely proven.
Oh, I
So
know, because they do that against
yeah.
us.
Yeah, I mean, it's all the time, man. All the time. I mean, there's always going to be a story about every university. And as y'all probably heard me say many, many times, it ain't just a HBCU, it's every HBCU seem like when somebody brings something up. So I know everything like Jackson State's issues is Alabama A&M's issues, is FAMU's issues. FAMU's issue is Prairie View's issue. It's everybody. They like to put everybody in the same boat. That's just what it is.
Well, hey, Mr. Mona, did you see anything yet? Could you read what they're saying? What are the accusations?
I am speechless because like Wild Wang knows, the government is always accusing HBCUs of that's actually not the first HBCU, because I want to say North Carolina Central they said something about North Carolina Central and their auditing and mis calculations in how they put down certain like expenses and stuff like that. But so I think this was interesting that I looked this up, right?
Okay.
I looked it up. So the first thing that really took my eye was the fact that Alabama A&M is owed $500 million.
Right.
That's the first thing that I mean, of course, the first line says that Alabama A&M made various corrections after audit finds. So it did say that I haven't read the article yet, but what I'm more honing in on is the fact that Alabama A&M is owed $500 million from federal officials.
Right.
So a lot of times what we see is when the state owes money like that, they will levy these types of accusations, or they'll pick apart any little thing to justify, why they aren't funding them properly.
Right.
And made various corrections after audit finds it violates property law.
Yeah, and this was something from this is 2025. So this was 4 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Past regime. Yeah, 3-4 years ago, past regime.
And let me say this: that was also an article where the state of Tennessee is about to give Tennessee State, was it $96 million? Did somebody?
Yeah, $96 million. Yeah, and a lot of people were looking at it like, oh, now you want to give Tennessee State,
but they owe them $2 billion, right? What would the state of Tennessee owes Tennessee State? What, $2 billion or $1 billion?
It was $2 billion.
$2 billion.
It was $2 billion.
Yeah.
And you over here giving us $96 million, and they gotta just crack a smile and say, "Yes, massa." We
there you go, baby. Yes, massa.
We thank you so much, Massa, for giving us $96 million.
So we can pay these weekly, bi-weekly checks, Massa.
Lord,
thank you, Massa.
And you better not, at this point in time, with who we have in as the president, y'all better not make too much noise. You just
that's right, baby. You better not say nothing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I was just listening before I came on. I was just listening. I heard what was being stated about the rankings of the SWAC on June the 24th. And I heard, and Prairie View's getting a lot of love, and they've definitely
not
made
from
a
the
lot
white media. They ain't, not from what I read today, because they had them ranked next to the last.
They're getting some love. Let's just say this: they're getting some love.
Black media. From the black media, they are.
Yeah, they're getting some love.
I find is so interesting that they are getting the love, because the notion, or not like the media, the black media, when
the black media is giving them love, but that's what I saw.
Going through a regime change and had so many new transfers. The overall opinion was they have too many transfers. We don't know what we're getting. We have to see if the team gels correctly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't think Jackson State's going to win that many games this year because it's too many unknowns. That was what it was for Jackson State.
Okay.
But for Prairie View and Alabama A&M, you guys get a different perspective on what the Black media thinks about where you guys are at in terms of the football rankings.
So this is what I want to do. I want to just say a few things here about, just to be generalized. All right. First off, I have no predictions that are being made tonight. I'm not here for that. Not here for making any predictions because there's plenty of more time for that. We still got media day. We got breakdowns. Got all the film that I sit down and watch and all the evaluations that I do. Still got all that coming. But what I can say today, let's talk about Prairie View first. All right. So definitely Tremaine Jackson. I've had him on my show. We talked. Very charismatic, very confident, very polished. And he is a winner. He has a track record of winning. He led Valdosta State to the D2 championship game. That's well said. Yeah. All right. So I saw that they were ranked number 1 in terms of, like, for the HBCU football teams in terms of transfer rankings. So the thing that I'll say about transfer rankings, transfers, period. All right. The same thing that I say every single year. You got to see this stuff get on the field. You got to see how can you get guys to buy into the system that you're putting in place. Now, as a new head coach, you're starting from ground zero. You're starting from the beginning. Now, what was last year with Bubba McDowell, what was the last couple years, none of that stuff matters anymore.
Right. He will never be mentioned again.
Nothing matters. Nothing matters anymore. Nothing matters from last year. Nothing matters. That's for every single team that plays football anywhere in America. What you did last year means nothing no more. Because in this era of transfer portal, in this new era now of moving into this new settlement, you've got to now look at it as this is a 1 year at a time principle. And with this 1 year at a time principle, now you're bringing in guys that come from different places. Maybe they were starters, maybe they weren't. You got to get guys who maybe they were part of a defensive line rotation where they got the majority of the snaps. Now maybe they're coming in where they got to share snaps. Now you got to convince these dudes that you're sharing snaps. Okay. Now you're also talking about at Prairie View. You're looking at a difference at quarterback. Now, yes, Cameron Peters is going to be there again. He got the majority of the run last year. But Cameron Peters might not be Tremaine Jackson's guy, right? So you don't know about that. And then also I heard what you said, Timona, about Southern. All right. Now let's talk about Southern. This is the second year now with Coach Graves. But now we're talking about a new quarterback. Now I say new quarterback. Jalen Woods was there last year. But essentially you're really looking at it as a new quarterback because they pretty much played everybody at quarterback. Zayt-Set's not there anymore. He moved on, right? They've got new pieces, new parts all over the place.
Moved on to Grambling.
Let me tell you something. You're making it a little bit more complicated than it is. Southern's problem is they don't have offensive direction because they don't have an offensive coordinator.
But and as long as
let me say this. Let me say this. As long as Mark Fredericks is the offensive coordinator at Southern, the people in Baton Rouge will never take that program seriously. Now, it was a time you could have people like Mark Fredericks as your offensive coordinator and win the SWAC. Those days are long gone. There are quality coaches in the SWAC now, and you can't win with Mark Fredericks as your offensive coordinator. Okay. Now, the whole thing with the Prairie View thing is this, baby. And I tell everybody, when I look at football coaches, I look at their resume. Yep. And when you look at the resume of Coach Jackson, I tell everybody, to me, his coming to Prairie View is like when Billy Joe came to Florida A&M. And I'm quite sure you know the kind of success that Billy Joe had at Florida A&M. And I'm going to tell you right now, Jackson's going to have the same kind of success. When you bring a guy like that into the SWAC West, like I always tell people, the SWAC West is weak as Sweetwater. Southern won it with no offense, no offensive direction. All they did was run straight up the middle on every play. And you won the SWAC West? No. Listen, I put Prairie View #1 easily. So that's what I'm saying. I think we oversimplifying this situation. Listen, as long as Southern University has Mark Fredericks as offensive coordinator, they will continue to be a sleeping giant because that's what they are. And I tell everybody, one of the biggest games for many years was Southern versus Florida A&M. I want to report to you, that ain't nothing no more.
Well, I will say it like this, man. I'll say it like this. As far as Prairie View goes, I like it's kind of like, when you go to the dealership and you see the car on the lot, you like the way it looks. It looks the whole part. But then you got to get inside of it and drive it to see the whole story. It might not feel the same way as it looks. Right now, Prairie View looks very impressive with all the stuff that they've done. But all I'm saying is you still got to get on the field and prove it.
Hey,
now,
no doubt about it.
He has done it. He has done it.
I was about to say, he got a resume.
He's
done
it
thing about
everywhere
him
he's been.
He has a resume. See, like you talking about them cars. See, you have the certified, and then you just got that car over there. But that certified has a manual that goes with it, and it tells you every oil change, every major repair that's been done. Listen, he has a resume, and his resume says what? Championships. And so I don't believe that championship's going to stop simply because he's going to Prairie View. I think that's going to continue.
Well, I don't think it's a matter of whether or not he'll win a championship. The question is he going to win it year one?
That's the question.
No, I've said that over and over. The SWAC this year is Jackson State and everybody else.
At least we got that under control.
Haven't I said that? But I'm saying after this year.
Yeah, after this year.
All bets are on, baby. All bets are on after this year now.
Watch out for Sam Shade, Mr. Ford.
Yeah, the only thing I'm saying right now with Sam Shade, because I told people, I went to see Sam Shade. I had to put my eyes on it. I wanted to see his program at Miles. And I came back and I told you over and over, I said, I want Sam Shade at Alabama A&M. Didn't I say that?
You did.
I did say that. Okay.
You said it all last year.
All last year. All I'm saying right now is Sam does not have the material on the hill to deal with it. Now, the coaching is there. Now, one thing I tell anybody, when it comes to Dr. Williams and A.D. Bryant and Sam Shade and that staff, they A1. But I'm going to say right now, the boys ain't there yet. There's some good boys there, but it ain't enough of them. Because, see, right now, Jackson State got boys on top of boys, okay? Prairie View right now stacking boys on top of boys. And, see, A&M has got to get there. The coaching is there. The administration is there. They got the commitment from the president, but they got to get them boys in there. Because like I told you, Jackson State is stacking boys on top of boys. They doing that damn Bear Bryant shit. That's what they're doing.
I got no dispute with what you're saying about my Alabama A&M squad, because anybody, all y'all know me. I say it like it is. One of the biggest things that I've got to figure out, and I'm gonna figure this out real quick when we start talking, me and Coach Shade. You got that quarterback battle between Quad Brown and Mekhi Higgins.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think it's a battle. I got to go with that kid from Pine Bluff.
Honestly,
I got to go with that kid from Pine Bluff, man.
Hear me out. Hear me out.
Hear me out.
I don't either.
Hear me out when I say about a battle. Okay. Here's the thing. Mekhi Hagins, last year, we all know he had that great receiver, Javonte Gibson, right?
Yeah.
But one thing that he did not have last year that Arkansas Pine Bluff didn't have, they didn't have any running back depth. And he didn't really have a line. It's a better line at Alabama A&M, much better than what he would have been working with at UAPB. Also now, Quad Brown. I'm a big fan of the kid.
I am too.
But
I'm a fan of Browns too now. Brown was here in Atlanta with us. He was at Georgia State. We watched him carefully. Oh, yeah.
But some of the things about Quad, though, is turning the ball over, forcing throws, playing on schedule, playing with confidence on schedule. When he was good, when he's on, he's right, he's good. Grambling game, the game against Valley threw 5 touchdowns, but then you saw moments when FAMU game at the end of the year, turning the ball over. Alabama State game is multiple times turnovers. Like the best version of Quad Brown, definitely, no doubt, is capable. But the inconsistencies have been there. And that's something that he will tell you himself. He has said himself. So that's why I say it's going to be a quarterback battle. That's why.
Yeah, but I'm going to say this. How many years of eligibility does Quad have?
This is it. This is it for both guys. This is it for both of them.
Ooh.
For Mekhi, too?
I thought Mekhi was young.
No. No, this is it for him. This is definitely it for Brown. This is his last year.
Okay, so here's the reason.
So what about Mekhi Haken? How many years does he have? Miss Whitley.
I could be wrong, but I thought Mekhi was a junior last year.
Can we look that up, Miss Timona?
So I'm gonna look up his eligibility, but Quad Brown is coming to SWAC Media Day. So that's the only reason why I say, is it really a quarterback battle if you got Quad Brown coming to your SWAC Media Day to represent the...
But he did spring with them. I thought that Hagins was at Lamar somewhere. Where was he for the spring?
So he's all right. So yeah, he was a redshirt junior last year.
So he has 2 years left?
So he potentially could have 2 years left. Yeah, as a redshirt junior last year.
I don't think they brought him there to sit him down. I really don't. Because I'm going to be honest with you. I thought FAMU would go after him. I did. I really thought FAMU would. When he announced that he was leaving Pine Bluff, I thought FAMU would go after him. But I'm going to be honest with you. I can't see A&M bringing that kid there to sit him down.
That's what I said, man. You never know. I mean, you never know because, like I said, this is a brand new staff.
Yeah.
And in the beginnings, starting off playing Arkansas, you definitely you're going to see both players against Arkansas.
Right.
You're going to see a whole team play against Arkansas.
One of the things we always did when I was coaching, you look at the quarterback, because both of them are talented, but which quarterback, when things break down, can take a negative situation and make it a positive situation? And I think that's Hagen.
Well, yeah, Hagins definitely has went through the most adversity in terms of fighting back and UAPB had a rough season last year.
I mean, UAPB, I will say though, UAPB, they had their moments. They won the PV game, and they had some other games.
They beat Prairie View.
They beat Prairie View. They had some moments. They did. They had some moments. They played a lot better than, what everybody had thought. But we'll see, man. That's just what it's at, where it's at with that. But yeah, okay. So I see these media day attendees, and one guy that sticks out here, Mr. Ford. I like looking at JaCorian Sewell from Alcorn. Now Sewell.
Okay, tell me a little bit. I'm sorry. Tell me about him. Now,
right.
What position?
Yeah, he's a running back. He's a running back.
Oh yeah, I remember him from last year. Yeah, he's a transfer, right?
He was with them last year.
He was tough.
Yeah.
I remember him. Mm-hmm. Oh, he was tough. But now one thing about these last few years, Prairie View has hit the jackpot with them transfer running backs. Have you noticed that?
They have.
They've hit the jackpot because that kid who I thought was going to tear the pros up, what was his name? He came down from Syracuse.
You talking about Jarvion Howard when he played
I loved
Alcorn.
him. Oh, I thought he was beast mode, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Jarvion Howard, he played there 2 years, and then JaCorian Sewell, he kind of, they had a little bit of running back by committee last year, but JaCorian Sewell, he kind of really came in, and he was really, really good last year for them.
Well, and, let me ask you this question, bro. Now, did y'all play Alcorn last year?
We have not. We're actually playing them for the first time in 4 seasons coming up here the second weekend, September 6th. We host.
Did you see them on television?
Yeah, saw them plenty.
What was your thoughts on the offensive coordination, the offensive coordinator position? Because I'm right now, I got so many question marks. I still can't get a beat on them.
Yeah,
I'm still saying I got to watch him carefully because, when it was brought to Cedric Thomas last year at the end of the season, he did the metrics. And, I don't know if I told you this, but he said that with Jackson State, if he didn't start recruiting kids who could compete against Jackson State, he would lose his job. And he said that what they found out, they were 3 inches too short at every position, 28 pounds too light at every position. But they asked him about the offense coordination, and he said it was not the offense coordination, it was the quarterback.
Well, quarterback. So going into last year, everybody thought that Tyler Macon was going to be the starter. Didn't happen.
Right. Yeah.
They actually rotated 3 guys at quarterback. Then, they actually kind of midway through, they kind of settled on things. But then as you saw towards the end, especially the last few games of the year, you saw quarterback play was the thing that really, really, really cost them. Really, offense, period. I see Chris Silas said it best. They said they had no, you could just say they had no offensive identity.
Well, I think they found a position for that Tyler Macon because they tell me he's devastating at wide receiver.
Yeah, well, they actually put him out at wide receiver last year, and he volunteered to do it. Yeah,
because I think he might go NFL or CFL or Rock League or something because they tell me he looks good.
Yeah, so that was the thing. Offensively, they ran out. They didn't have anything going with things, and then also, that schedule beat them the hell up last year.
Okay.
Because they played, you think about it, they played Alabama State in Mobile. They played at Grambling, which they did win. They played at Prairie View, which they did win that.
Okay.
But they had a lot of tough games that they played. And then they just pretty much simply ran out of gas at the end. And then Jackson State, they just completely took them apart.
He said that the 2 worst whoopings, Coach Cedric Thomas said, the 2 worst whoopings that Alcorn took last year was number 1, the Southern game in Baton Rouge, and then Jackson coming to Lorman and doing them the way that they did them. Because he said that Southern ran over them, and he said he vowed that he would
295 yards.
Yeah, he vowed that would never happen again.
Yep.
And then he said that one of the things he decided after the Jackson State game was if a kid that was in the program could not compete against Jackson State, they could no longer be in the Alcorn program.
Yeah, they gave up 295 yards rushing to Southern.
And did they give up 300 to Jackson? What did they give to Jackson?
Shoot, they gave up. It was over 500 yards of total. I mean, they gave up yards in the air too.
Yeah, and because like I said, I like Cedric Thomas. I like Cedric Thomas. Okay, but my thing with him is I know that defense is going to be all right. My deep gut feeling is that offensive line is going to be all right. My thing is offensive coordinator, quarterback. I'm just drawing a question mark.
Yep.
Now, one of the things he keeps saying is that the offensive coordinator at Alcorn basically spent time with TC, and he runs the same playbook as TC.
Yeah, but
I
you and I know,
I didn't see all that.
You, me, and everybody know you can run the same playbook, but you ain't got the same personnel.
Right. Don't have to. That's right. There you go.
It's the personnel. So yeah, Alcorn, like I said, this guy right here, JaCorian Sewell, he's a pretty good player for them. But
now, who is this?
This is their starting running back. So,
I remember him. Yeah, I remember him from last year. You're right. He was good. They got another one too because they brought in 2 transfers, I think.
Yeah, they got to get a quarterback. They got to get a quarterback, and they also got to do something at receiver.
And by the way, where is G? Is G a POW too? I ain't heard from G, and I don't know when. did he go into hiding after Jackson beat them? I ain't heard from G in 6 months.
How many POWs do we got, Mr. Ford? Who else is a POW?
It's Mr. Campbell, but I found Mr. Campbell. He with them other folks over there on that, he with that boy. Yeah, he over there.
Hey, Timona, switch the screen and show the 2 that Jackson State has that are attendees. I want to talk about them. Okay. I want to talk about them for the folks. So I know Mr. Morgan is showing up, Mr. Jacobian Morgan, and one of the things that I've always said is and especially in this modern day and age of college football, just college sports, period. When you can return your starting quarterback, that gives you a really big leg up on the rest. The thing that I will say, I thought that, and y'all heard me say this, I thought that his performance in the Celebration Bowl, that was the best. That's the best I've seen him throw the ball.
Right.
Like the long pass to Isaiah Spencer down the middle.
Yeah.
The 2 dimes that he threw to
the big wide receiver from Florida.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm drawing blanks. I know this dude, number 16.
Fertillion. Isn't his name Fertillion?
Yeah, Jonas Fertillion.
Fertillion.
Yeah. So he's another guy.
Well, bro, Wayne, let me ask this question before we can go on here. Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
So after Jacobian is finished with Jackson, does he get drafted in the NFL? Does he get a free agent offer to the NFL? Does he go Canadian or does he go to Rocks League, in your humble opinion?
I think he has a chance I definitely see him as pro ability because he's got size.
So we talking NFL, CFL, or Rocks League?
I think he has an outside chance. He has an outside chance to potentially get to
Mr.
maybe
Ford,
he could get to the NFL. Maybe.
Okay. All right.
He's working on his mechanics. He's working on his footwork.
I've seen some videos of him. He looks good.
Yeah, so he's been.
I'm hoping that he gets a shot at the NFL too. I am.
Quarterback, 601 elite quarterback, Wyatt Davis. So he's been working with him. Like somebody said in the chat, he definitely has to reduce the turnovers. But I think this is like his Jordan year in terms of where he's at and what he can do, right?
So this is why I brought up about the way he performed in the Celebration Bowl.
And I agree with you. I thought he was electrifying in the Celebration Bowl.
He was throwing the ball.
Yes, I thought he was electrifying.
That's the stuff that he needs to be able to carry forward into this year.
So let me ask you this, Brother Wayne. Does he have to throw for 3,000? How many yards he has to throw for Jackson this year?
I mean, it's not necessarily in so much of the yards. It's so much in the performance, in the consistency.
Right. Okay.
It can't be, you have this great Celebration Bowl performance and then, you go AWOL with passing for maybe 2-3 games. And then you have another good one. Like he's got to really be like, have it rolling on a consistent basis. And then lastly with that, he's got to do it against the best competition on the schedule. Right. So a big opportunity that he'll have first is when they go up against Southern Mississippi.
Right.
That's the first opportunity that he'll get because you'll be going up against a group of 5 team. You know,
FBS.
FBS, you get some better looks. What will help them is that you've got a really good receiving core. You know, we talk about Fertillion, but then you got Nate Rembert coming in, 1,000-yard receiver, transfers
the kid
in.
Don't forget that kid from Prairie View.
Yeah. The rich just gets richer at receiver.
Jamar Savage.
Savage. So you got these three guys that makes you say, wow, Isaiah who? Because at first I was like, man, Isaiah Spencer, if he was coming back with them boys, but then I look at these three guys that you do have. Fertillion, Savage,
and Wayne, let me ask this question. You look at the quarterback this year at Ole Miss, the starting quarterback. You look at the starting quarterback at Mississippi State.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the starting quarterback at Southern Miss.
Yep.
Is Jacobian the number 1 quarterback in Mississippi?
I'll say maybe he's I'll say that probably the kid that they've got at Ole Miss, he could potentially be a stud.
Now, what's his name? I think I saw something about him today. What's his name? It's a black kid, right?
Yeah, it's a black kid. He's number 13.
That's right. I saw a picture of him today.
Yeah.
Now, you got in it. Where's he from? Is he a Mississippian?
No, he's not Mississippian. He actually played baseball for him last year.
I think I saw it. So you don't know where he's from?
I don't know where he's from, but definitely top 3 in Mississippi. I go with that.
Okay.
Definitely. He's definitely
because I'm going to say this about Jacobian, and I tell people this all the time. You know, like I said, I come from the coaching perspective.
Austin Simmons, that's the guy. Austin Simmons, that's the quarterback at Ole Miss.
And so where's he from?
They said he's a true freshman.
Yeah, he played baseball. He was pitching.
So where's Austin from? What's his hometown?
Here, I'll pull it up.
But let me make this point right here. I've always said the fact that Jacobian went to Syracuse and played for Dino Babers. Dino is an offensive mind. And I'm going to say this. Dino trained a lot of people who went into the NFL. You remember Jimmy Garoppolo? You remember him, right?
Yep.
Dino trained him.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and there's some others that I'm missing. But I feel like they would not have brought that kid to Syracuse if he wasn't a top-notch kid, if he didn't have what I would call Sunday-type talent.
Oh, absolutely.
They wouldn't have brought him to Syracuse, but because they don't do that. Syracuse has money.
Absolutely. And Zach and Blue, you're right. The new kid at USM, he dope too. Like I said, he would probably be.
You know, Blue, I got a question for you too. You know, I got so Blue. Let's do this now. Of all of the quarterbacks in Mississippi, is Jacobian the best kid in Mississippi? That's the question. Is he the best kid in Mississippi?
Yeah. So you got Braylon Braxton. That's the guy.
So who's the quarterback at Mississippi State? Anybody know? And who's the quarterback at okay, so who's the quarterback at Southern Miss? Who's better than Jacobian?
So the kid at Southern Miss is his last name.
Who won a championship? Who won a championship?
There you go. Miss Whitley, is he the best in Mississippi? Is he the best quarterback in Mississippi? Jacobian.
So the kid from Ole Miss, he from Florida, by the way.
Oh, the kid from you wouldn't happen to know what part, right?
Pinecrest, Florida.
So
okay.
Here's what I got. So Ole Miss is Austin Simmons, sophomore quarterback. He was confirmed as the team starting quarterback after spring practice. He's a 6'4" signal caller who reclassified into college early and is known for dual sport talent, football and baseball.
Yep.
Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Yeah, I have no idea who their quarterback is.
They don't even. They have Blake Shapen, who's
Blake Shapen used to play for Baylor. Used to play for Baylor.
Oh yeah, I remember him. I remember Blake. Yeah,
they were so horrible last year, though. in the first year with Jeff Lebby,
they were
building that down there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
they were building that at Mississippi State. But yeah. But Jacobian, he definitely has a chance. But just the bottom line is you gotta be fully consistent throwing that ball. We already know what he can do running. We know he's physical. We know that. And then lastly with it, stay healthy, man. That's important too for you guys. Stay healthy.
So let me ask this question to you and the Blue. So when we, they're saying right now that Jackson State has the premier starting wide receivers. You got the Rembert, you got Fertillion, and then you got the Savage kid.
Yep.
Are all of these kids NFL bound?
Mr. Ford.
I'm just asking. Blue, is all of them kids NFL bound? Brother Wayne, is all of them kids NFL bound? Are they Rock League or are they CFL?
Nah, I don't.
For us to state, where they're at on the totem pole in terms of after college football. Let's see what they do in college, Mr. Ford.
Yeah. I'll say this though. I like Fortillion's Fortillion's upside.
I do too. I think he's a pro.
Now Fortillion definitely is.
I think Fortillion's a pro.
I like his upside. I like his upside. The thing about Rembert is size.
Right.
And to be the size he is, you better be able to be a burner.
But he is a burner, isn't he?
I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Okay, Blue says Savage isn't an NFL prospect. Ooh,
see, Fortillion.
Fortillion is probably the only one.
Fortillion's he has an upside.
When he says that, what he means is he's looking at like size, meaning the measurables. He's going to look at the measurables. The speed, the measurables, the production. These are all things that, when we're talking about someone, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't go to the NFL, right? Because we've seen, we have several different players that, are there right now. We have undrafted free agents, several different undrafted free agents that are in the NFL right now from HBCUs.
Yeah. But Fortillion, he definitely has a chance. He just has to take more of a step forward. He's got to take more of a step forward this year, because right now you look at it, these three receivers, it could be by committee, but really, if you ask me, I think Fortillion needs to be the guy. I think he needs to step forward and be the 1A and take it over and be the guy, be the go-to, not just being the go-to in the red zone. But I'm talking about you need to be a go-to guy that can stretch the field.
How many years eligibility does Fortillion have?
He might have one more.
I think he has one more. Yeah. He has one more.
Okay.
Yep.
So I was just looking at, some of the other notables on the screen for the SWAC Media Day attendees.
Yep.
Of course, we have Jeremiah Williams. Jeremiah Williams was.
I think Jeremiah's a pro. I think he could. I think he played somewhere after Jackson.
He was the defensive MVP of the Celebration Bowl.
Yeah, and it was well deserved. I think he's a pro. I think Jeremiah's a pro. Blue, what you got to say on that?
Well, for me, I think Jeremiah, he's another guy. I'll say again. I'll use the word. He has potential. He definitely has the potential. The way he was in the Celebration Bowl, he was very dominant.
Yeah,
he was in the backfield the whole time.
Right,
the whole time. And like Blue said,
he's the best defensive tackle in the
FCS. I agree with.
The way that I saw Jonathan in that Celebration Bowl, he reminded me of those old defensive linemen with the Baltimore Ravens during the time of Ray Lewis. Quick, penetrating in the backfield. That's why I said he's definitely an NFL. He's an NFL guy.
It's flat out. They couldn't block him. He was in the backfield the entire game. I mean, the whole time, just completely. He changed the game.
So Johnny Thornton says, who is the best QB1 right now in HBCU football? And of course, the answer is Jacobian Morgan.
I think it's Jacobian Morgan.
I think it is too. I think it's Jacobian
Morgan.
But now, one of the things we kind of glossed over, and I'm going to say this, to me, there's only one question mark at Prairie View, and that is who will be QB1. That will determine whether they are an outstanding team or a super team. If they get the right QB, I think they go to super team status.
Yeah, you know.
Not knowing who is at quarterback is the biggest question mark of any team.
No.
Except for Jackson State, really.
Yeah,
honestly.
But here's the thing. I don't think they got a lot of question marks at Prairie View. I think the biggest question mark is that quarterback position.
I think
that's going to determine whether they are an outstanding team or a super team.
I think it's going to be Cam Peters too, said Brass. That's who I've been thinking too. I think it's going to be Cam Peters. At least I think he's going to get the first shot because he did do a lot down the stretch with them. So that's what I think. He'll get the first shot to be able to take the reins and be able to try to prove that he can be the guy.
Right. What's his classification?
Cam Peters, he's a young guy.
I want to say he's a red shirt. He got a red shirt.
Yeah, he's a young guy.
So I'm excited about that. While he looks up what Cam Peters' classification is, we see Jacoby Givens from Southern.
He's got a lot of listen. The white press is on him. He's I think it was Lindy listed him as a FCS All-American. The mainstream press is all over Givens. They're all over him.
Yeah. So here, close the loop on Peters. This is his last year. He's a senior. Now back to Givens. Thing about Givens last year, the hype was up there for him last year. He was picked. Everybody remember now, he was picked the preseason defensive player of the year last year.
Right.
And then, he had those moments where you didn't hear from him. He had a few of those moments, like Jackson State game, the first one, didn't hear from him. But the Prairie View game, and this is what really turned their season around and got them going. Because if you remember the Prairie View game, they played on the road. Remember, Prairie View had them on the ropes.
Yeah.
And
so did Texas Southern.
And then the defense took over in the second half for Southern. And Kelby Givens led the charge. And that's what turned the tide. Right? But again, with Kelby Givens, same thing, man. You can't have these moments, a game or two where we don't hear from you. It's got to be, he's got to be the guy. He's got to be the guy. Now, the rest of his mates from last year, it's all retooled. He's back, but they're retooling that whole line back there.
Yeah, they got bigger and stronger.
Yeah,
because they got like 6'4", 6'5", 290, 300 pounds, which is going to help him. Because what Terrence wants to do is he wants to collapse the middle of any offensive line, and then Given comes off the edge, which to me, when he goes to the NFL, which I do think Givens goes to the NFL, he's going to be a hybrid. In the NFL, they're going to stand him up, and then they're going to put him down on his hand. So he's going to,
All right, let me clarify this, Blue. Let me clarify this. I'm saying, in the bigger games that they had in the beginning of the season, you didn't hear from him. Down the stretch, he picked it up. Yes, he did. He did pick it up. You're right. He did. He was huge for him down the stretch. He said, "Will tell SU to schedule Lane 11 times?"
Miss Whitley, when you look, I've gone over that staff. I've looked at. I'm a fan of Coach Jackson's. I look at all things coaching. Okay, I've recently found out through Miss Timona who the athletic director is. Now I knew his mother. I was a big fan of his mother's at Virginia State. If he anything like his mother, I'm gonna be honest with you. I like I said, I think the coming of Coach Jackson to Prairie View is very similar to the coming of Billy Joe to Florida A&M. And I don't know if you remember him, but when Billy Joe came to Florida A&M, it was a total different ball game. It was all about championships and competing on a national level. And I believe that, and I've said this over and over, this year, it's Jackson State and everybody else, okay? But I'm saying after this year, all bets are on, okay? I really feel good about Coach Jackson. I'm going to be honest with you. Now, yes, I'm a Grambling graduate. And somebody said, why I don't come to SWAC Media Day? I'm a fan. I'm a follower of Miss Timona. That's all I want to do is follow behind Miss Timona. I don't need to come to Birmingham. I'm going to give her the questions to ask. I'm a fan of hers. I'm a follower of Miss Timona. SheLovesThee. That's all I want. That's all I want.
Hey. But I tell you this, man. I tell you this much, though. Well, we still talking about Kelby Givens. Like I said, I was really impressed. I did get to see him because I got to see him when I went to Huntsville when they played us.
Right.
And we couldn't block him.
I was about to say, I love his engine. He has a motor.
Yeah,
he has a motor. Yeah.
And we had and if you remember last year, we had one of the better offensive lines in the SWAC, and we couldn't block him.
Got an NFL
had an NFL guy. We couldn't
on the roster.
Yeah.
We couldn't block
I think that, like I said, when Kelby goes NFL, what they'll do to him in the NFL, he'll be a hybrid. He'll play sometimes down, but sometimes they're going to stand him up. So one of the things they got to start teaching him at Southern, I know Terrence knows they're going to do it. They got to teach him to be in the pass coverage. He can't just be a rusher. They got to, because when he goes in the NFL, because right now it's obvious that they've seen him. They like what they see. Because when I read the Lindy magazine, he was listed as, I think the first team defense and maybe something. They listed him as an FCS All-America. But I do think it's important that they teach him to be a hybrid, to play with his hand down, but also to play standing up.
Yeah, well, he's definitely got tools, brother. He's
he has legit. A motor. He has a motor.
He's legit.
And that will be to Mr. Givens. That will be to Mr. Givens' advantage if they do highlight him this season in those different positions. We saw that work well with Rob McDaniel. They placed him the last couple of games of the season. They placed him in situations and areas that he didn't normally perform in, and he knocked it out of the park. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the things that he did. He got all those different things on tape to basically expand, and they're like, okay, he can do this, he can do that. And that's why the Washington Commanders were so high on him.
Yep. And
now, brother Wayne, let me ask you this question, because I know you got connection. And Blue, I need you to answer this also. I'm a Grambling graduate, so I got to ask about my school. Are we going up or we going down? What's going on at Grambling? Are we, Lionel calls us a crumbling dynasty, okay, which is a kick in our face. So what do y'all have to say? Are we at Grambling? Are we going up? Are we going to rekindle what we've had in the past? Or are we going down? Are we going to be a loser? Are we getting ready to be Mississippi Valley?
Whoa.
Okay, so I'm just answering the question. What are we getting ready to do?
All right. So
Blue, what you got to say on that?
So, man, first off, Mickey Joseph, he gotta get some things established with that staff, man. All right. Now, we already know, everybody out here knew when you saw Dooley was gonna be the offensive coordinator, you had an idea what it could potentially be. And it was. So hopefully he learned. With now getting the offense, new offensive coordinator, gonna have a new quarterback. There's no more Miles Crawley.
Good.
Maybe he gets the guys that fits his system.
They got T-Set. T-Set was a good.
As I said, T-Set, maybe he fits his system more because he's more of a runner And that's a little bit more of what Mickey Joseph's skill set, what he really likes. So we'll see how that translates. Defensively, gave up a lot of yards in some key moments. Now, early on in the season, they got a lot of turnovers. Remember? That's all we talked about.
I remember is we got our ass whooped by Grambling.
Jackson State turned the ball over a lot. Texas A&M Commerce turned the ball over a lot. Everything got off to a good start because they got a lot of turnovers. Then all of a sudden,
Gatorade bath, and it wasn't right since.
Them turnovers wasn't coming no more, and that offense wasn't moving. So to answer the question, are they going somewhere? I will say that right now, I say that they're headed in the opposite direction, brother. I do. I think as of right now. Now, once we get the season started and we start seeing what T-Set look like, if he's actually going to be the quarterback, if we start seeing them do some things on offense, because everybody here, regardless, their offense was putrid last year. It was so bad. Like they had moments when they couldn't run, and then they had moments when they couldn't even throw. They couldn't do nothing offensively. That's what he said. Hey, their biggest problem. There it is. It's right there. They could do nothing on offense. So we'll see, man. We'll see. He better get it going because as a Grambling alum, them folks.
Yeah, they impatient.
The honeymoon will be over real quick. If
yes, it will.
They ran Hugh out after 2 seasons.
Yeah, and 2 bad Bayou Classics.
They ran Hugh after 2 seasons.
2 seasons. They had 2 bad Bayou Classics, and it was time to go.
Yeah. Hopefully he has his people in place, man. That'll turn the thing around on offense.
Well, let me ask you this: what's y'all's thoughts on Chris Dishman and the job he did last year?
Oh man, I thought he did a phenomenal job. Considering the fact that everybody picked him last, including I picked him next to last. They won 5 games last year, and if you think about you mentioned the Southern game, right?
Right.
If they get a punt off, then they win that game, and who knows whatever else happens. But they were very competitive in a loss when they lost at Lamar. Very competitive in that game. He did a great job last year. Surprised everybody. But now, expectations were very low last year.
Right.
Now we'll see what happens now that people saw what you did in year 1. I like his attitude. I think they got a chance, man, to do something. Last year, they couldn't really throw the ball.
Really, really, really late.
Yeah, last year, he came in real late, like real late. But last year they couldn't really throw the ball. They had Jason there, they had Jordan Davis in there. They couldn't really throw the ball. They were a running team last year. But then when the better teams would load up against that run, then they struggled. So we got to see what he gets. If they can throw the ball a little bit more this year, we'll see, man. But I definitely thought he did a great job last year. Because nobody out of no one saw them going 5 and 6.
Okay. Once again, I want to put a missing persons bulletin out on G from Alcorn. If anybody's seen G, please ask him to please call Mr. Mona. Okay, we'd like to hear from him.
Hey, you'll see him talk. You'll see him talk tomorrow.
Yeah, I ain't heard from G since November.
He's doing an appearance. He's doing an appearance tomorrow on your boy Lionel show that talk about Alcorn football. Ooh. Tomorrow night.
Oh, that's right. I did see that. Yeah, okay, because I'll tune into that.
Yeah. Otherwise,
wait a minute. Hey, when is the draft? When's the NBA draft? Because I got to watch that. Is that tomorrow?
Starts tomorrow.
Well, I got to watch the draft.
So I wanted to highlight some of the names that we have on this list before actual SWAC Media Day. It's nice to put names and faces together. So the Southern Jaguar has wide receiver Darren Morris on.
Yeah, he's a returner. Yeah, he played for him last year.
6'2", 176 pounds. He was a redshirt freshman. He's actually a hometown hero over here. He's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Graduated from Southern Lab High School.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's definitely on the court.
He played in all 11 games in the 2023 seasons. He had 11 passes for 247 yards and 2 touchdowns. He broke a single season record with a 98-yard touchdown reception.
Yeah, he was pretty good. He played for him last year. He did.
But here's the question: is it a quarterback battle at Southern, or is it the Woods kids' job? Is it a battle down there, or it's already been given?
Really, right now, all the words, and Edwin Moore. I know you'll be quick to chime in, but right now, everything, all the signs are showing that it's gonna be Woods.
Yeah, that's Woods what I kind of heard. Because I hear that kid from Valley can play though. I heard he can play.
Yeah, well, Woods is the guy for now. You know what it is.
Oh yeah.
Now.
So he had 818 yards, 11 touchdowns.
He was really good last year.
Was 57. Oh no, he had 57 receptions for 818 yards, 11 touchdowns.
He was really good last year. You see that 818.
Yeah.
So he was top 5 because you had Gibson and Rembert that went over 1,000. I know they were 1-2, and then Morris was right in there. So yeah, he's pretty good. And the thing about him I like about Morris too is he's more of a possession receiver as well. So he's a guy when you need those tough catches, he's a guy that you can lean on. So, but yeah, that's a good guy. And then the thing that got my eye, I saw Kenneth Cooper, quarterback for Texas Southern, because I know Jace Wilson, he left the program.
Right, he left.
Jordan Davis is still on the roster. And
wait a second. Wait, what happened? He left. He went into the transfer portal?
Yeah, he transferred.
Yeah,
Jace Wilson transferred.
Yeah. He's the kid that came from Furman, I think, isn't he? Didn't he come? Hey, Blue, didn't that kid come from Furman? I think he came from Furman. Oh, what?
Let me see.
So Kenneth Cooper, or KJ Cooper, he's the quarterback. 6'5", 215 pounds. He's a senior. His previous school was Minnesota State CNTC.
Yeah, Texas.
Your phone's breaking up.
From Minnesota State.
Your phone's breaking up. So no, it's still breaking up. So KJ Cooper had 19 completions out of 29 attempts, 180 yards, 1 touchdown. So he wasn't really, like you said, the main quarterback has entered into the transfer portal. So KJ Cooper is stepping up.
Yeah. That's why I said when I saw his name, I said, yeah, Jace Wilson. Yeah, he is from Furman, went to Tennessee Tech, because I knew he went to Tennessee Tech.
Yeah, he could throw the football. I remember him. That kid from Furman. I remember him.
But yeah, that was one that stuck out to me, Cooper. And but we'll see, man. I think I'm very curious to see what transpires down there in Houston, because again, it's a difference now, because they're not going to, they're not going to sneak up on folks now.
Did they get a interim AD yet? Or they still? Is it still?
You talking about the AD? The AD, he's still on administrative leave. So they got somebody.
Who's the interim AD?
I honestly, I don't even know who's the interim, who's handling business right now. Yeah. And he said, I'm actually curious, is this the first time a kicker coming to media day? Yeah, that's a real good question. Too.
Oh my God.
That's a great question, Blue. You're right. I saw that too. I was like, straight glimpse. I was like, okay. I was like, wow. But I mean, they're having a brand new quarterback, so pretty much all new stuff on offense, all new parts UAPB has on offense. So I was like, hey, Why not have a guy?
He doesn't want to reveal his roster like that, you know? When
But you know
reveal
what, though?
somebody out.
But for Pine Bluff, Hampton, he's pretty much used to it now, man. I mean, 2 years ago, he had Kayvon Britton, running back. He transfers, goes to Tarleton State. He's one of the leading rushers in FCS. Last year, Giovanni Gibson lights it up, goes and heads on to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So he has he's able to get some really good recruits. It's just the retention that's a problem,
Yeah.
It's hard.
Do they have any games in Little Rock this year? Because they used to take some of their big games to Little Rock.
They played their opener against Arkansas last year in Little Rock and got
okay. But I'm saying any black school, any HBCs going to Little Rock?
I'm not sure if we're playing I think we're playing Arkansas and Fayetteville. No. Because we play we play Arkansas in our opener. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So after looking at I think this is a really good addition to Texas Southern is, of course, the DeMarcus Thompson. Looks like he's going to be a slinger. 6'4", 275. He's a graduate student. His previous school was the University of Delaware. He's from Alcorn, California. Mr. Ford, that he looks like he's trying to hit something.
He was good for them last year.
Okay, he was at Delaware.
No, he played
last year, but
Southern last year.
That was he had 2 sacks for 16 yards, 3 tackles for loss for 17 yards.
Yeah.
9 solo tackles, 13 assists for a total of 22 tackles. I mean, that's the other player that's coming to SWAC Media Day.
Yeah, Texas Southern, they played pretty good on defense last year. Like I said.
Well, hey, Brother Wayne, let me ask you this question. Hypothetically, if Texas Southern beats Southern University, what happens in Baton Rouge?
Right.
What happens?
You said if
Texas Southern upends Southern University next year during the 25 season, do they become the second place team, or what happens in Baton Rouge? Do the people become very impatient and want to make a change, or what?
Well, here's the thing, though. That's kind of I mean, that's one game of the the way the West is.
It's wild. It's called Wild Wild West, isn't it?
Here, I'll say it like this, okay, for Southern. A lot of people will listen. A lot of people, they didn't really think. They thought that Southern had the potential to be good. They didn't think that they would win the West. Now, those of you that are Southern fans in here, let's keep it real. You didn't think before the season last year, you didn't think you were going to win the West. All right. Now that you did.
Some of them say they did. Some of them said they trusted in their coach.
Okay. But I'm just saying, though.
I picked him too. I picked him because you got to remember now, there's only one other school in HBCU football spends more money on sports than Southern. That's Prairie View. Then I'm gonna continue to say Southern is a sleeping giant.
Besides Crook.
Southern's a sleeping giant.
So I'm gonna say this about Southern. All right. The expectations are always there, man. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what year it is. They always there. So whenever they don't win, they always want somebody to be changed out.
Well, they got a legacy in the history. The other thing about Southern's always had a big fan base that would go with them wherever they went. Yep. They had a championship fan base. If Southern come to town, they bring a lot of people with them. I saw them one year come to Tallahassee, man. I couldn't believe it, man. I was like, all these people coming with Southern like that?
What? It says if Southern loses to Texas Southern and loses to Jackson State, FAMU, and Grambling, he's gone. There's no way he survives. Wait a minute. He literally won the SWAC West last year.
Here's the thing, though, Timona. Most of the folks didn't even want him last year.
No, they didn't. Yeah, he was. No, they did. That's true. That's definitely true.
That's why what Blue says has total credibility.
But they're kind of like the Yankees anyway. It's hard to please them Southern people. It's hard. You gotta have championships. You gotta have championships because that's what if they were champions in the 40s, the 50s, then Pete Richardson, they were champions. You got to be a champion in Baton Rouge.
TC Taylor elevating and winning the Celebration Bowl in year 2 at the helm has put so much pressure.
Yes, it
on
has.
The rest of these coaches,
way up there.
Folks are over there like, well, hold up just a minute. He lost 60 plus players the first year, 30 plus players the next year, had to rebuild his whole team from the ground up, had to hire coaches, had coaches leave the program and had to rehire, had coaches leave the program again and had to hire again. And here he is, Celebration Bowl year 1, and it was not close.
So y'all gonna try to put 50 on Grambling in Las Vegas, right? That's what you're saying.
Mr. Ford,
y'all gonna try to put 50 on us in Grambling. I mean, at what's that stadium out there?
Allegiant Stadium.
Yeah, they gonna try to put 50. They gonna put what they call it, take the belt off and all that, right?
Oh, we're gonna drag them worse than we
That's
did
what I'm saying.
South Carolina State.
Don't do my school like that.
Mr.
So I'll say,
Mr. Ford, we're undefeated in get back games.
I know it.
So
Yeah.
I'll say it like this: while we're talking about hot seats for coaches and stuff, the one hot seat coach that is a absolute definite is down there in Daytona Beach, Florida.
He got to go.
Mr. Raymond Woody.
Yeah, he got to go.
Is definitely on his farewell tour, unless something miraculous happens.
Hey, the AD is Reggie Theus. Hey, Reggie, how about going out there getting one of them assistants from Pete Carroll's staff and bring him to Daytona Beach? Bring us somebody because we need Bethune-Cookman to win.
Because
I'm telling you, man, he is.
Woody alone?
No, he got to go. He got to go.
Listen,
He's getting his full 3 years, so give him his third year.
All I'm saying straight up is, hey, look, they won 2 games last year, including the loss to Clark Atlanta. I mean,
that's why you got to go.
That's what I'm just saying,
that's
man.
Why you got to go.
Mr. Ford, ain't that your team?
Yeah, but listen, that's D2. That's bad on the conference. You let a school that don't even have a football tradition come to your place. They came to Daytona Beach and beat you on national TV. Raymond Woody got to go.
And I tell you, the other thing that doesn't help them is the best player that they had on offense down the stretch, Dennis Palmer, transferred. The running back.
The running back. He was good.
Yeah, he was real good.
Yeah, he was good. I like him.
Against FAMU, I kept saying, well, I don't think they're gonna be able to keep this dude, but if somehow they kept this dude, he's somebody they could build on. Well, now that he's gone, I'm just saying that is the number one obvious team that is that something miraculous gonna have to happen. And
Mr.
the
Mona,
way that schedule is, it ain't happening to me.
Mr. Mona, Bethune-Cookman probably got 63 scholarships. I doubt if Clark had 20 scholarships in football. Then on top of that, you talking about a D2 school, okay? That's not a championship school. Comes to Daytona Beach and beats you in Daytona Beach. You represent the SWAC are going against the SIAC and you lose.
Boy,
on national TV, he got to go. He got to go.
So, Mr. Ford, we're gonna give Coach Woody his 3rd year.
But after that, he got to go.
This is his 4th year. This is 4th season.
Okay, well, that's too many.
Season?
Yeah, this is 4th season.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I think it's his 4th. Yeah.
It's his 3rd.
You know what? He better be glad he didn't bring Miles down there. He better be glad he didn't bring Miles College down there. They'd have beat him worse.
Regardless, he's on the hot seat for sure.
He got to go. He got to go. He got to go.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, he got to go.
Y'all leave Bethune-Cookman. Leave them alone. Because
You're right. You're right. This is his
No, we
third.
need
This
them to
is his third.
win. They in
This is his third
Florida.
season.
Ford, you have to understand their whole athletic department was wiped out during COVID. Like literally, they started from scratch. They did not have all of their scholarships. They didn't even have helmets. So they literally started from the Airy debacle up until now. They were getting the resources right, but you had to get the program right.
Listen,
So
that's a school that was started with $1.50, baby. They can get it done.
I
When
know
the school
that, but
started with $1.50, how much did Miss McLeod have?
I saw that. I'm looking at
$1.50.
it. Said
$1.50.
it's worse. They said which is worse, Bethune-Cookman losing to
Right.
Clark or FAMU losing the Valley.
This was worse
Losing
than
the Clark.
Hey,
No,
at least
FAMU
FAMU,
losing
at
the
least
Valley.
FAMU.
Losing the
Hey,
Clark.
I'll say
I
at
told
least
y'all Clark
FAMU.
might have had
Valley.
20 scholarships.
At least
FAMU
look,
losing the Valley.
they both some bad losses, but
Yes,
man,
it was.
FAMU losing
at
the
That's
least
right.
Valley.
Woody got to go.
At least
At
FAMU
home.
lost to an FCS team, man.
That's
I'm
right.
like,
That's
man,
what I'm
Clark
talking
can beat
about.
too, dog.
No,
Ooh.
FAMU losing the Valley is way worse. They were undefeated for 4 or 5 years. That was way worse. At home,
Yes, they were. They were
It
undefeated.
was
There.
bad. It
definitely
was
worse.
bad. It's no,
They
ain't
broke
no
that
way,
long
ain't
winning
no way,
streak.
ain't no other way to cut it. It was it was terrible.
And they was rolling all on their in the middle of the field, all on their logo, all in the middle of the field, rolling around, laughing, and didn't nobody do nothing. They just said, man, and went to the locker room. They didn't even care.
He said FCS in name only. That's funny, man. Rusty Shackelford, man,
Can't beat
cracking me up.
Mississippi teams at home, Lord.
He cracking me
Valley
up, man.
has JSU more than FAMU because y'all ain't played them that much.
And by the way, Brother Wayne, we got to get Tuskegee straightened out too. We need Tuskegee to be a big time winner.
Ooh,
You talking about
them
the?
too.
Wait a minute. Remember this.
Ooh, that's gonna be
Tuskegee
ugly down
is
there
the
in the mix.
winningest HBCU in the history of HBCU football. Number two, Tuskegee is the first HBCU to have a band. They're the first one to have a marching band. Okay. Now, Tuskegee has to be able to compete with Alabama A&M and Alabama State. Now, the last time that Tuskegee went up to Alabama A&M for A&M's homecoming, they took that bet off the whole game. They put bet to you know what, the whole game. Okay?
Yeah.
When's the last time Tuskegee beat Alabama State? We got to get Alabama State straightened out. If it's Ruffin that's got to go, Ruffin got to go. If it's the head coach, what's his name? He's James. If it's time for him to go, or if it's time for both of them to go, but we got to have a winning program in Tuskegee, Alabama. We got to have that.
He said Booker T. Washington ain't the president.
Now when we talk about Mr. Ford, the
firing everybody.
SWAC Media Day is less than a month away, and you
I can't wait.
Firing coaches. This is not now is not the time to talk about who's on the hot seat.
Listen, Woody got to go, and Tuskegee got to get straightened out. Because when I was in school, Tuskegee could go head to head with Alabama A&M. Tuskegee could go head to head with Alabama State, and I believe that they should be doing the same thing. So, like I said, if it's time for Ruffin to go, then Ruffin need to go. If it's time for Coach James to go, it's time for Coach James to go. If it's time for both of them to go, then it's time for both of them to go. But we need Tuskegee to be a perennial winner. Remember what I said. They are the winningest HBCU football program in America. We need them to win.
Well, they finally got lights. They finally got lights. So we'll see what happens with them. But, you know.
Okay,
but,
I wanted to highlight
this.
the UAPB. We didn't talk about UAPB. You know, they're coming. Jeremiah Rogers. I think that we should leave no stone unturned. Jeremiah Rogers is an offensive lineman.
Yep.
6'3", 290 pounds from Red Springs, North Carolina.
Yeah. The only like resemblance of size that they had last year on the offensive line. They've been undersized a lot, and it showed down the stretch because Mekhi Higgins.
Here's the problem with Pine Bluff. My thing with Pine Bluff is, why aren't they recruiting all them kids out of Texas? There's enough Negroes in Texas for everybody. Why aren't they going to Texas and getting them kids? It's 28. What is it? 30 million people in Texas, right?
Coach Tremaine Jackson said folks got to tap in and check in with him before they come recruiting around Texas.
That's what he said, right? Ain't
But
that,
listen,
that is what he said?
Let me say this. I don't know if y'all remember this. I don't know. Listen, when Oklahoma Sooners was in their heyday, all the players was from Texas. When Arkansas was in their heyday, all the players was from Texas. So I'm asking, why isn't it blue that Arkansas Pine Bluff isn't going into Dallas, Houston, Killeen, San Antonio, and all them places and going to get them boys? Why?
Maybe he needs to get some a coach that's from the Texas area,
Man, like I said,
y'all are clowning in the chat. Good Lord.
For the last 3 seasons, or last few seasons that Hampton's been coached, last few seasons, both lines, I'm talking about offense and defensive line, vastly undersized. This was the one guy they had. Yeah, like he said, UAPB, they getting all recruited by 10 schools in their state. You know what I'm saying? Shoot. But yeah, Trey Glimpf, the place kicker. Yeah, Trey. I remember Trey. Trey was making some good kicks for them last year. He was a good weapon for them. But
that's the second student athlete that's going to be at SWAC Media Day, Mr. Ford. Trey Glimpf, the place kicker.
And by the way, the Hall of Famer guy that played at Pine Bluff, I think he went to New Orleans and Miami. He retired, right?
Yes, he just retired. Teron Armstead.
Yeah. Do you think he could come back to Pine Bluff and be head coach?
Wait a minute, Mr. Ford.
He got name recognition.
Mr. Ford, do not give.
And then he could bring all them NFL people with him. Like Steve Wilson did it out. Listen, in '89, Steve Wilson retired from the NFL. He was 31 years old, and then he came to Howard. Guess what he did? He brought everybody from the NFL to his staff. I'm saying, bring in, what's his name? Armstrong? What's his name?
Teron Armstead.
Bring Armstead, and then let him bring them NFL people with him. Isn't that the way we doing it?
So you getting Alonzo Hampton fired too?
Listen, listen. My thing is, I think they're underachieving at Pine Bluff. They underachieving.
Hey, listen, man. I gotta say though, last year I gotta give Hampton this credit though for last year though, because last year, I know 3-9, I know, but they battled in some of those games. Like for real. Like they battled in ways that they didn't the previous couple years. Cause y'all remember, man, the first year, the one win that they had was against NAIA team. His first year. So last year,
hey, bro Wayne, let me ask you this. Didn't Doc Gamble have them playing pretty good at one time?
He did during the COVID year. They went when A&M beat them in the championship. That was the one time. But most of the time it was like 3-8.
Okay. All right. What about you remember they had a guy, his name was Coleman. He was a Washington Redskin.
Marco Coleman. Or Monty Coleman. Monty Coleman.
Didn't he win at Pine Bluff?
He did. But then eventually he ran out of favor with him too, though. So it's just listen, man. It's just been I've been to Pine Bluff. If anybody else been to Pine Bluff, you can see what's around there. Okay.
What is around there?
Nothing. It's tough to recruit people there. It's tough. Real tough.
That is not an excuse.
Listen,
Well,
The
let me ask
question
you.
got asked.
Alcorn,
I know, but why aren't they using the portal? What
question got
is he bringing
asked.
in portal kids?
Hold on. The question got asked. I gave an answer. Now, I am giving Hampton. I gave him a lot of credit for last year because even though they only won 3 games, it was a lot bigger a step forward than the previous year. Now, he's got his work cut out for him now because new quarterback, new running back, probably new receiving core. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot that to restock and replenish. Because I mean, if each year you're losing your top players on offense, I mean, that's hard to begin with. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. But you know,
bro, Wayne, I'm gonna ask you this question too, and I've been on the soapbox of this. I want the elimination of the divisions, and I want the SWAC to pick the best 2 teams at the end of the season to compete for the championship. What you have to say to
that? So I'll say it a couple ways. My first thing is I would like it if it happened because I think that you would definitely have the 2 best teams in the conference play each other each year. Right. I think it'd be from a guaranteed standpoint, especially if it was like what it was when FAMU and Jackson State were the 2 best teams in the conference.
For 3 years, right?
Yeah, for 3 years. But then what you would have gotten a rematch. All right. So I know some people, they don't like rematches. I'm like, hey, I'm all for it because
hadn't Georgia and Alabama met? They met during the season and then they met in the SEC championship.
There's been some rematches, and in this stance, the rematch would have been, they played each other first week of the season. Then they would have played at the end of the season. Yeah. I'd have been cool with that. Now here's the other side of it. Why I think it's not a good thing. All right. If you have, let's say you got 12 teams in the SWAC, let's say maybe only 3 of them or 4 of them really have a chance, right? Then it's like, well, what are the rest of the league? What is the rest of the league playing for? I think as even like we like to talk about how the West is, the Wild Wild West.
The Wild Wild West.
Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
You gotta admit though, it is kind of interesting watching them play down to the end.
It's weak as Sweetwater.
It's weak as Sweetwater. And what is Sweetwater? Is that sugar water?
Yeah, sugar water.
So yeah.
Before, why would you say it's that weak?
It is. Because the best teams are in the what? East.
The best team
are in the East.
So that's just where I am with it. And it's kind of ironic that FAMU, they usually say that after they lose. After they lose at Jackson State, that's when they bring it up. Every year. That's the only time they bring it up.
The only time they want to.
Only time they bring it up. They say it's only fair.
Has a SWAC West team ever been to the Celebration Bowl?
Yeah, Alcorn.
No, but they went to East at the time.
Oh, Grambling.
You're right. I'm sorry. You're right. It's a Grambling.
Hey, Mr. Ford, you don't know about
Listen, I remember at one time we were the only SWAC team that won the Celebration Bowl, remember? Until I think it was FAMU. At one time, Grambling was the only SWAC team that won the Celebration Bowl.
The only one that won it for a while.
That's right. They beat North Carolina Central.
Yeah, and now the last 2 years, the SWAC has won.
And they're going to win it again this year. The SWAC going to win it again. Okay, it's Jackson State and everybody else.
Ooh.
I see this, though. He said, remember when the East was bad? I do remember. I remember when the East was real bad. I remember. It wasn't that long ago either when the East was pretty bad. I mean, there's some rough moments. Because I remember in the West, the West was rough, boy. Like when Grambling was doing their thing.
Oh, yeah.
Southern, when it was them.
That's that Pete Richmond era, right?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
the West. It was
Even one year,
hard.
didn't Johnny Cole come to the SWAC championship one year?
Johnny Cole.
He was at Texas Southern. He had to vacate it.
Well,
they got rid of
they
him.
vacated it.
Cheating.
Yeah, they vacated that. But still, I do remember. Oh, yeah. And he say, has A&M beat FAMU? No, we haven't beaten FAMU since they've been in SWAC. Lost to them all 4 times.
Southern hasn't beat them either, have they?
Ooh.
Since they've been in the SWAC? No.
Yeah, Southern hasn't beat. Listen, when Willie was down there, the only somebody could beat him was Jackson. That's the only team could beat them.
But see,
the
the reason why he's bringing this up, he's bringing it up trying to make a point. You talking about y'all beating A&M when like that has nothing to do with the fact that y'all, every time you lose to Jackson State, you start talking about it needs to be the 2 best teams. So case closed. Yeah. You made no case.
But they wasn't even the best. They still wasn't the best team, I don't think.
Well, let me ask you, Alabama State has not beat FAM since they've been in the conference, right?
No, they haven't.
They haven't beat them. Right.
No, Nope.
Dre said Prairie View ran the SWAC during World War II. They might come back this year since it's World War II.
Look at them. They said
Billy Nix. That was Billy Nix.
Said Valley has. That's funny.
Billy Nix days, baby. The Nix days.
That's funny, man. They keep going back and letting folks know about Valley beating Look, he said Valley has never beat JSU.
Mr. Ford asked that question. You kept on saying that that's what FAMU highlighted. Nobody has beat us since we've been in the SWAC except for
Jackson State, baby. Listen, they remember Willie Simmons had a home winning streak that Mississippi Valley went down there and broke up.
So Valley beat them last year. Prairie View beat them last year.
That's right. So he might be on the hot seat. He lose too many games. And by the way, y'all, I called to get my tickets for Valley and it's Valley and Florida A&M here at the Mercedes Dome. They are saying that the contracts have not been signed. That's why the tickets are not on sale.
Wait, what contracts ain't been signed? You over here dropping
listen, if you go on the ticket master and it'll say that the Valley FAMU game is in Itta Bena. It does not say it's in Atlanta. They won't let you buy tickets here in Atlanta. You can check it.
Well, you know.
Look, I see everybody. You done broke some news.
Wait, y'all, put allegedly in the chat. Put allegedly in the chat. You know how Mr.
Just check. If you go on Ticketmaster, anything, and you put in there FAMU versus Mississippi Valley, it's going to say Itta Bena, Mississippi.
Said Brass, I'm with you, bruh. PV did beat FAMU before Valley did. I'm just laughing, man. He bringing this stuff up, man. The folk going crazy.
I ain't seen no
allegedly.
Yes.
Allegedly,
the contracts haven't been signed.
Yeah, they say the contracts haven't been signed.
Too busy at the casino playing bango.
I said between sticky fingers and wig, they got too much going on to focus on the game. Whitley, stop, man.
Miss Whitley, you got jokes. You got jokes, Miss Whitley.
Whitley, stop. You're making my stomach hurt over here in Ohio. You're making my stomach hurt.
Mr. Ford, it's breaking the news. We need some more allegeds in the chat.
Hey, anybody, just put in Ticketmaster and put in FAMU versus Mississippi Valley. It's going to say Itta Bena, Mississippi. Because they saying the contracts have not been signed.
Look, it said ain't no allegedly Mr. Ford.
You know who would have had that? You know who would have had that contract signed, Mr. Ford?
Who was that?
Original big girl.
Yeah, baby. And you know, I told you my sister loves her. My sister loves her. I didn't even know my sister knew her.
Signed. Thank you.
Yes, I told you that. My sister I didn't even know my sister knew her.
Yeah, it's funny, man. That's funny.
No, don't do it no more.
Look, when I saw that they were gonna play down there, I was just like, what?
I thought it was a great idea in the sense
I did too. I thought it was a great idea.
FAMU would have, it was a Valley game, so Valley would get the proceeds or whatever.
Yeah, it's their home game.
Yeah,
I thought it was a great idea.
But I was like, man, y'all turning it into a road game. Because FAMU got a huge presence in Atlanta.
Yes, they do, man. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I work with a lot of them Rattlers now. One of them is my boss.
Did you ask the Rattlers what's going on?
Listen, them Rattlers are so hurt and messed up right now. This ain't the time to talk to them.
Oh, you don't ask them no questions?
No, not right now. Maybe, once things kind of settle down, because they very upset. I'm serious.
He said, stupid idea. Who takes their home game to
one that needs revenue? One that needs revenue.
But no, it's about money. They gonna make money.
That's a money game.
That's a money game.
It's about that cash.
That's not a stupid idea. They whooped ass in Tallahassee.
And so the people gonna come up here to make sure it don't happen again. Because if it happens again, brother, listen, that U-Haul truck gonna be in front of Cozy's house. I'm telling you.
Mr. Ford, you literally have let go of at least 5 coaches.
He done let go of almost everybody. Only people he ain't let go of TC, Sam Shade.
I love Sam Shade. I love Tremaine Jackson. I love Terrence. I just think that Terrence, I'm calling him on the BS about the offense coordinator job. I'm calling him on the BS. It ain't about your homeboys. It's about going out and getting someone that can help make you a champion in the SWAC and make you a national champion, so that you can bring that big old fan base at Southern University to the Celebration Bowl. Yeah. Who has more loyal fans than Southern?
Well, Mr. Ford, you might tell a joke, but you don't be telling no lies. Lord, somebody just sent me the link.
What'd they say?
It says Idabina.
That's what I told you.
Got you all hyped for nothing. So this is why I said something, which is why I even mentioned, the fact that it was kind of strange is because we were always told that you cannot schedule SWAC games in Atlanta. There's in that MEAC SWAC contract, allegedly there's something in there that basically keeps blackout dates.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's so many days after the SWAC MEAC challenge and so many days before the Celebration Bowl. You can't come into Atlanta or something.
Yeah,
bro. I don't need no podcast. I just want to be with Mr. Mona. You know that. That's all I want to do.
Like I said, man, I was just real surprised by that. But with Media Day, some of the things I'm gonna be interested.
And Brother, it's October the 4th, so it's legit. It's October the 4th.
Yeah, one thing I'm really interested to hear at Media Day is the talk about opting in to the settlement. And I will say that I know that it made a whole lot of headlines, and those that follow me and watch me, I've been talking about this for 2 years now. The thing that's really interesting that people need to understand is that almost every team in the SWAC, there's no way that they're gonna, be able to spend the amount of money that is in the settlement that allows you to pay teams. But giving themselves options, that's the thing that I think is the thing that gets lost in the whole piece of the puzzle. Just the fact that it's giving everybody some options about how many scholarships you can allot for. Now, the average the average scholarships, I looked this up. The average scholarships in athletics and Division I athletics, and even though we're FCS, we are Division I athletics in everything else. The average scholarship comes between $14,000 and $18,000. That's on average. Okay. Now we know that everybody doesn't have full rides, right? That's something that people need to also be aware of. Not every scholarship is a full ride scholarship. There's a lot of
Right.
partials out there. Okay.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there's a lot of options that you can use inside of how many people you choose to bring in. But the thing that really does get lost on people is for somebody like me who loves track and field, I ran track and field, I officiate track and field. I worked at the SWAC Indoor Championship last year. Some of these non-revenue sports that many of us like, these are the things that we have to be conscious of, because a lot of the schools out here that are going to beef up and put a lot more money into football, and some are going to put it into basketball. What it's going to do is it's going to potentially push your budget to a place that doesn't have any more room for any of the other non-revenue sports. And so that's something that I'm very curious to see if it gets asked in relation to football. 105 scholarships, 105 people on your roster. It's definitely a lot more than what we currently work with now on our level FCS, because right now we're at 63.
And we can't do 105. 85, I mean, like I said before, 75 would be good. 85 would be super for us. We can't do 105.
Yeah. So that's why I said.
That's why I said I definitely want those who's been boasting and bragging about going FBS. I definitely want to see them participate, because you're basically getting a free chance to go FBS in terms of being able to be competitive. If you're stating, oh, we want to go FBS, well, can you fund those scholarships? Here's a trial run for you all. You get a trial run to see if you can.
For 105 scholarships?
I know that when the commissioner talked about the settlement, he was asked on, I want to say that was maybe one of those weekly.
It's one of the weekly coaches calls.
Coaches call?
Yeah, because I remember you asked him.
He did say that he does have a plan in place for all of the SWAC to be able to participate. And so when we looked at the revenue, right, of the SWAC, and they have millions and millions of dollars in the green versus their expenses. You know what I'm saying? So they might be able to have some support, not necessarily saying we'll fund all 105 of yours, but what that could look like in terms of, can they help fund 10 more or 20 more scholarships?
Yeah.
Is something that they could do. So we don't know necessarily how that's going to work, but I am for certain that with the SWAC as a whole opting in, that the SWAC has a game plan so that you're not seeing such a wide gap in talent, or, you know, because there's already a gap without even there being this new roster cap we have. There's already a gap, and that's just recruiting, coaching, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I definitely do believe that, you know, obviously they wouldn't have opted in if they didn't have a plan. It's just, for me, I just know that the way the bigger schools, the way they get it done, like, you know, I work at Ohio State. I'm close to the athletic department. I know a lot of the things that goes on. The revenue that they make from just their media rights package. I mean, look, 7 year, they're in year 3 of a 7-year contract with CBS, Fox, and NBC worth $1 billion a year in revenue. Right. You know, so it's like those schools and the powers and the power conferences, they have revenue that they can spread around.
Right.
That comes from media. The
Right.
group of 5 conferences, those are the ones that are just like in no man's land.
Yeah,
Big
when I
time.
looked at
Well,
their
well, well,
expenses,
it's not that they're in no man's land. It's that the Power Four has turned their back on the group of 5. What they're basically saying in the Power Four is the hell with the group of 5. Okay, but really they want to say the hell with the ACC. Okay, but they what they're saying is the top conferences, of course, Big 10, SEC, Big 12, ACC. And they're saying the hell with the rest. That's why you got group of 5 schools looking at Southern, looking at Jackson, looking at Florida A&M, looking at Grambling, and some of those other schools, because they know that those schools bring money, because they need what? Money, because the TV revenue is about to be cut off on them. But
now
Brother
that
Wayne,
see that you see what the now that you can see that Jackson State, Grambling, Southern, UAPB, Valley, Alcorn, FAMU, Bethune-Cookman, Alabama A&M, Alabama State, Alcorn, like now that you guys can see that the SWAC conference as a whole is generating $20 million in revenue.
yeah,
Far above any other FCS conference.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be why, like when we were looking at payouts and stuff like that, you might see that smaller schools get more payout because they're a smaller school. They need more revenue. And
history is repeating itself. You're in the same position that the Negro Leagues was in the 30s and in the early 40s. They were making more money than the major leagues because they had better players and they had a more loyal fandom. And so what did Branch Rickey and them say? We want the money and we want their players. And that's what the NCAA people up that group of 5, they look in the same way that the major league teams looked at the Kansas City Monarchs and them teams. They looking at black college football the same way. They want to come in and vampire us. They want to suck the blood out of us. That's why they want to look at a Southern and a FAM and all of that. They want to vampire us. But listen, I got to ask this question. I got to ask this. Listen, Brother Wayne, you know me. I do a lot of reading. I got ideas, and this is one idea that I want to hear your thoughts on. And everybody, every time I say it, Mr. Moan and them tear it down, and other people tear it down. And here's my idea. I say that the SWAC and the MEAC needs to merge, come together, super conference with Dr. Charles McClellan as head of it. What you got to say to that, Brother Wayne?
No, I don't think so. And the reason why is because of the territory, the budgets.
But listen, we would fix it like the NFL. You wouldn't have to go no more than 3, because what we're asking for 4 divisions, 5 teams in each division. Right now you got 12 teams in the SWAC. You got 6 teams in the MEAC, and I'm asking for 2 more teams to join that super conference. It would give us 20 teams. Now, you would not have to be traveling from Virginia all the way out to Mississippi. You would stay in your area, all right? You wouldn't go no more than 300 miles from your campus, okay? And see, my thing is, either we help our brothers out, because they kind of lost over there as far as leadership is concerned. So we got to make a decision. Yes, the SWAC is making a lot of money, but do we want to see the MEAC drown? And that's why I say super conference, merge it, Charles McClellan, Dr. Charles McClellan as a head. I'm turning the floor back over to you.
We are not getting ready to drown the SWAC.
No, not the SWAC. I'm saying the MEAC is getting ready to drown. The MEAC, if we don't merge it, the MEAC is going to go out of existence. Because see, first of all, and I've told Mr. Mona, you and I have talked to the stupidest thing they do in the MEAC is that you were formed to be a football conference, but you allow Coppin State not to have football. You allow Maryland Eastern Shore not to have football, and they got the money. In Maryland now because they just got a settlement from the state of Maryland because of the past discrimination.
Well, Maryland Eastern Shore did used to have football.
And they were very successful.
And they ended it because of finances. Okay. Coppin State, they've never had, they haven't had football. They've talked about it. But here's the thing for me. The MEAC, and I'm just going to say this. I know how everybody believes. I know how most folks in the SWAC, I know how they feel about the MEAC, okay? I'm going to keep it real.
How do we feel about the MEAC?
A lot of people, they feel like to hell with the MEAC. They just want to beat them in football, beat them in everything. They say their problems are their problems. Listen.
No, we all in the same boat.
I've had conversations with with Sonia Steels, who is who's the commissioner of the MEAC. I've talked to her. She says that the biggest thing that they're trying to do is they're trying to have stability within what she calls the Elite Eight, the 8 schools that they do have. Now, I know a lot of people, they only see the 6 teams that play football, but Coppin State and Maryland Eastern Shore, they're there. The biggest thing that has to be seen here when you talk about trying to merge, it's not just about football. It's about every single kind of sport. And you're talking about budgets that are at different universities that are just all across the board. They're in different places and different positions. There's different priorities in different sports, in different schools. And for me, I think also just the Eastern footprint that exists of the MEAC. I think that their mission should be, how can they find a way to sustain what they have right now and to...
It's not going to help them, but with that bad leadership, you cannot survive with that leadership being that terrible. The best organized and the best leadership conference is the SWAC.
I just don't believe.
So it just boils out. Do we want to see these people drown? Do we want to see the MEAC go out of existence?
Themselves? Are they drowning
themselves? No, but do we want to see? We got to give them a helping hand. And the helping hand is to merge. Yes. Listen, if we don't help them, they're going to drown.
I don't think that they're going to drown.
Yes, they are. You really cannot have that kind of bad leadership and survive. It won't happen.
It's my opinion. I don't think that they're going to drown. I think that they're going to find a way out of it. But I think where we are right now, I think the 12 schools we got, I think that this is where we need.
Mr. Ford, do you want to send Bethune-Cookman and FAMU back?
I'm telling you, I want to see a merger of the SWAC and the MEAC under the leadership of Dr. Charles McClung. We've said it, 12 schools in the SWAC, 6 schools in the MEAC. That's 18. We're talking about adding 2 more schools. We would have 4 divisions, 5 teams in each division. You would not have to travel no more than 300 miles from your campus. Okay? Come on, y'all. Like I said, do we want to see our brothers drown over there in the MEAC because of that chaotic non-leadership in the MEAC that they've had for the last 20 to 25 years?
It sounds good, but yeah. I just don't think so. I don't.
They would, and that's exactly what they would rather do. I'm sorry. That's just how they are. They have this air or elitism about themselves. They would rather merge with the CAA or leave and go to the CAA, even though it was revealed that the CAA literally only made maybe not even 600 to 700,000 more in revenue.
And the CAA is on shaky ground themselves.
Only 600 to 700,000 more in revenue than the MEAC. They had Villanova in there. They had some powerhouse type of football teams in the CAA, and you guys are only making that much. Now, I'm not trying to count nobody's pockets. I'm really not. But I will say this, the jump that we have for the SWAC, if you look at the revenue and stuff like that, it appears that that money started like really, really coming in once the HBCU Go deal happened. If you look at how it went, We made $20 million for 2024. If you look at 2023, 19.7 million. 2022, 14.1 million. And then we wasn't really making any money before that.
Yeah, those are going back to the sharp years.
So
man, it's some rough waters during the sharp years.
I don't know. I'm not counting. I know a lot of people scream about media rights this and media rights that. But I think that like the numbers jumped since we HBCU go. I don't know, and it was interesting because there was a lot of people that were trying to get the SWAC to reveal what their media rights is, but it looks like whatever the SWAC is doing, that they're doing right, and everybody else just needs to be quiet.
It's just the bottom line right now. The way the SWAC needs to continue to try to build its own model, its own branding. They need to continue to build on what they're doing. MEAC, that they got their own thing that they're trying to do, and they're very committed to trying to build and try and not just stay afloat. They're trying to build. They're trying to find a way out of trying to find a way to get more into their league. I just don't. It sounds great. I hear it, but for me, I'm just nah. I think we all right.
299 miles from North Carolina Central to South Carolina State, Mr. Ford.
Wait a minute.
299 miles from North Carolina Central to South Carolina State.
I mean, but that's isn't that a tank of gas? What is that?
No.
Yes, 299 miles is a tank of gas. Huh?
But you talking about money and revenue for money to transport, money for people. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I just don't think so, man.
299 miles is not bad for a college team now. For a high school, yeah. For a college, that's not bad.
But the point that they're making is when you said that everybody wouldn't have to go no further than 300 miles. I think that's what he's challenging you on.
Well, listen, that's not. I mean, that's regional. You saying South Carolina and North Carolina? That's regional. Right. That's not a bad. I guarantee you, when South Carolina State goes up to Central this year, I guarantee you they take some people.
He said the SWAC don't want nothing to do with them MEAC Uncle Toms.
Ooh, not them trolling us.
Ooh.
Look, A&M, you're right. A&M is 800 miles from Houston, and we fly over there. We don't roll no bus over there.
You know what? If you go to them divisions, you wouldn't have to go over there every year. You go every 2 or 3 years. You wouldn't go over there if you had the divisions.
Man, I don't know, bruh. I mean, like I said, I hear what you're saying, but for me, I think the SWAC, we got enough things we still got to build on.
Mr. Ford, we're holding. So even though the SWAC does have great revenue and the expenses are lower, the universities in themselves on their own accord is going through a lot, Mr. Ford. You got some schools going through it.
Like I said, what we need to do is make up in our mind. Are we going to let our brothers drown or what? Do we want to just let the MEAC go the way of the dinosaurs? I mean, are we fine with that?
They would rather go to the CAA than to be in the SWAC. They do not like the SWAC. They do not when I say they don't like the SWAC, I mean in terms of them thinking. When you say, "Hey, why y'all don't come over here and join the SWAC?" I have rarely met somebody that's from the MEAC or even people who aren't even in the MEAC. They in the CAA, and they're basically like, "No, we do not want to be over there." They would rather disband or go D2 before they come to the SWAC.
I mean,
Sanders Surratt.
I mean, if you think about the way things were when Dwyer Sharp was in charge, and he was pretty much you heard what McClellan said. Pretty much was bankrupting the league by having the SWAC championship game down there in NRG Stadium up there playing. You know what I'm saying? It was more of a ping pong. It was flipped. The pendulum swung the other way. So this thing is going back and forth, different ways. But I just feel like at this point, man, I think that the SWAC, we got to focus on our own thing. Just keep doing what we doing. Try to build it. That's pretty much it. I know everybody else that's watching, I know y'all feel the same way. I see a lot of y'all. I said Sharp was a bad contract person. he was a bad contract person. He also was really bad at
we had to get out of bad contracts.
Yeah, man.
They had to do feasibility studies. One
Yeah.
of the things that the commissioner said was when you keep moving the championship every which way, it's hard to build.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that they keep the basketball tournament in Atlanta. I loved it. It was great. I thought that was great at the Atlanta Dream basketball arena. But, even then you had folks from the MEAC that was laughing. Y'all didn't have nobody there. It's like, so basketball is a revenue generating sport in the sense of if you guys go to the NCAA tournament. But outside of that, MEAC culture is different than SWAC culture, and we talked about it today, which is that the MEAC as a whole, culturally, their football love for football is just not there. Mr. Ford, why do you think that they are struggling with attendance?
Because they play too many day games and they don't know how to promote their games like they do in the SWAC. Remember, all of the big classics are in the SWAC. They don't have they talk about that Aggie Eagle, which should be in Charlotte, which should be a Saturday night, and they got it on campus. They don't know how to promote. They don't know how to promote like the SWAC.
Well, we'll see what happens, man. I mean, we'll see what happens now with Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson. We'll see what that could possibly do for him. But again, to me though, when they hired those guys, I was like, even that still has a shelf life.
But I think the Vic hire was legitimate. Now I think the Jackson hire because of him is a joke, but I think the Vic, from what he's done, the staff he's put together, what he's been able to do, like you said, we got to see him playing out. I think I could see Jackson State and Vic and those meeting up in that dome for that Celebration Bowl. I could see that.
Boy.
I could see that.
Yeah, for me, I still got the North Carolina Central Eagles, man.
Well, listen, that's going to be a get back game because the last time the Eagles and the Jackson State Tigers met up in that dome, didn't the Eagles win?
They did, but
okay, so that's a get back game.
But it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be real interesting. Said Timona, you just like McClellan because he light skinned it. but like I said though, with North Carolina Central, that's for me. That would be the team for me. But we'll see, man. Vic and them, they'll get on the field. They'll see what they can do. But the MEAC, they gotta figure their own stuff out. But y'all know
they're going to like the first, and that's the thing. Like, I don't think they want to change. I think that they are content in doing what they're doing.
Well, let's keep with that word figure out. If you had Dennis Thomas for your commissioner almost 20 years, you can't figure nothing out. If you had Dennis Thomas, NL, corrupt,
but then when you look at the other ones, they not in better positions either. The other conferences, when we looked at their numbers, there's some that's even worse than the MEAC. Worse.
Yep. There are.
They only make like the Southland Conference. Oh my God, that is absolutely terrible. And then the what is it? Is it the Big Sky?
Big Sky.
Yeah.
Like the MEAC is making more money than at least 3 or 4 conferences. The OVC, oh my God. When we talk about terrible.
Yeah,
so,
but you look at this though. You know, there's a lot of places in America. There's more places in America that don't draw crowds than the ones that do. Okay. In terms of FCS terms, I mean the SWAC, you know, we draw fans. A lot of these FCS teams, your North Dakota States playing in the 18,000 seat dome, they draw because, you know, they're a state school. But for some of these other FCS teams that are near big cities, bigger towns, maybe even just around maybe a FBS team that kind of dominates like the landscape, they can't really draw. They don't draw. You know, and it's not to say that they don't try, because you know
is
they
that
do.
Football culture and your alums buying into your school, because there's a lot of schools. I think that's one of the arguments that they had was like, it's easy for certain schools to pack their stadium because there's nothing for you guys to do.
Like the Dakotas. I mean,
I don't
Montana's.
think that's a good excuse though. Like,
no, it's not an excuse. It's not an excuse. It's just
and I think you got to keep in mind that the Dakotas are both FBS schools parading around as FCS schools. Okay, they could easily, because one of them went down there and beat Kansas State, and they were in the top 25. I think
it was North Dakota State did.
Yeah, they went and beat Kansas State, and they went in the top 25.
But the fact of the matter is that you've got certain schools that are in territories where the fans, you know, the city, the state, they embrace it, right? South Dakota, North Dakota, you know,
can
these
we talk
places.
About the HBCUs, like for instance,
when I bring it back around, you look at the way the things happen with our HBCUs. Okay. Jackson State, well-attended games.
Yeah, big time.
It's been like that for years. Continues to lead the nation FCS in attendance every single year. It's a proven fact. Okay.
Yeah.
It is a generational thing that continues to get passed down, that this is the culture. This is what you do. It is religion for y'all.
One year they averaged 42,000, didn't they? Right. Didn't Jackson State average 42,000?
Well, it's been in the 30s. Really.
It was. I thought 1 year in the Dion it was 42,000.
It was 42 when it was Dion, but really it's been in the 30s. But there's dedication there. And then also you talk about Southern folks. They come out. You know, FAMU people, same thing. You know, you've got these places that are deeply rooted with traditions that really matters something. Okay. You got people that refuse to say, I'm going to give more attention to the FBS teams and I'm going to give it to my HBCU team. Okay. You have that. But our culture is second to none, man. It's unique.
Yeah.
That's
now,
what
you remember,
it.
I don't know if y'all remember this. This was about 3 to 4 years ago. And it was Jackson State on this particular Saturday had a bigger crowd than the Ole Miss game and the Mississippi State game. True. And once they saw that, that's when that group of 5, like I said, had that vampire spirit toward Jackson, Southern, and all that, because they know that those HBCUs represent money on top of money. They weren't actually interested in the school. They were interested in the school's money.
Yeah,
I remember it was Mississippi State and maybe Alabama. Jackson State had more people at that game than that, and then Ole Miss was playing somebody, and Jackson State had more people than the Ole Miss game.
Yeah, and then the other thing you got to recognize too is this too: a lot of the stadiums in the FCS, we're not talking about very big stadiums to begin with. Okay, like the anomaly, the Vet is an anomaly. There aren't stadiums in the FCS that teams play in that size on a regular. I mean,
Right.
Tennessee State does, but they don't get
They
anybody
get
in there.
1,500. They get 1,500.
But most of your stadiums, you're playing in like 15,000 seat stadiums, right? 18,000 seat stadiums. So you're not really talking about big crowds like that. And so some of these numbers, when you talk about the grand scheme of what you draw and the revenue that you're pulling in with it, I mean, it doesn't translate. It doesn't translate because they're never going to pull in the type of numbers that it would take to compete with some of the crowds that we have. And, I see people that got the classics. We got these classics. You got all these different things that matters, that happens, right? And also, it's just the fact is just like this, man. What it always gets down to is that in the SWAC, our culture, our history, it means so much to so many people. And the fact that it means so much to so many people, they will move heaven and earth to make sure that it doesn't die out. There's enough people out here who've been taught, even when the old generation passes on, this generation that still sits here, they know about how important the culture is and how it needs to remain and how important it means to the people. Because like to Jackson State people, the team and the culture, it means it's life to them. And it's not the same thing when you talk about all these other places. It's not the same thing when you talk about all these other conferences, all these other leagues. It's not the same. North Dakota State, it's religion to them for them to be what they are. That matters a lot. And so when you get enough people who can buy in and believe and stay with the culture and stay with it and buy in and keep it at its importance, that's how you'll continue to keep doing things on the levels that we've been able to do it. And that's how you're going to be able to sustain it into the future. And there's all these other places haven't been able to do it.
Yeah, Mr. Mona, listen, I've enjoyed y'all tonight. I got to get into bed. Y'all have a great night. And Mr. Mona, when are you coming back?
I'm going ghost, Mr. Ford.
No, don't do that. You don't do that. Okay, so when are you coming back?
We're going to ghost you.
Oh, and by the way, listen, did you get those books for Brax? You remember I told you his name is Dr. Kawanza Kunjufu. I want you to get that library for Brax.
The effemination of, what was it?
It's one of them's called Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys. And then he has one called Black History, Black Economics. I need you to get those books for Brax. And by the way, how many books is Brax reading this summer?
He's supposed to read 2 hours a week.
Okay, so what we talking, 10 books? 15? How many is going to read this summer?
How many you going to 10 books this summer for the summer? He needs to read like 40 books this summer, doesn't he?
Okay, well, that sounds good. But I want you to get that collection of it's Dr. Kawanza Kunjufu. He's out of Chicago. Get all of that stuff. Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys, Black History, Black Economics, all of that. I need you to get that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, listen, y'all have a good night. Brother Wayne, I've enjoyed you, and we got to do this again.
Yeah, we will. And I'll say this. I'm gonna sign off too, but we getting ready for Media Day. It's in a couple of weeks. And when we get down there, we're gonna have some good interviews. We're gonna chop it up with some folks.
Oh, because listen, Mr. Mona's gonna have the commissioners here. He always makes sure he tells Mr. Mona something. So I'm sending my questions by Mr. Mona.
You are not getting ready to ask for the third year in a row. I'm not asking him questions. You make me ask him every time.
And it's always fun. It's always fun to join y'all. And y'all know my show is gonna be in full effect. We building it. Gonna have all the previews coming up on the ride. We got it all getting ready to be working.
All right.
Because I'm gonna give my predictions. It's coming. Y'all know I do it every
Good night,
year.
Miss Whitley. Good night, Miss Whitley.
Yes, we are, and we like hearing your predictions because you come from a non-biased standpoint. You didn't pull any punches last year, and you were spot on in some of your analysis.
I appreciate that. And
y'all
so
have a good night.
yeah.
Good
So
night,
yeah,
Mr. Ford.
Okay, see you later, Brax. Y'all have a good night.
great to see everybody. Great to
All
see you,
right.
Timona. And I'll talk
Great
to
to
you
see
soon.
you.
Wait to see you all.
All right.
Great.
Mr. Ford was on one tonight, though, y'all. Excuse me, baby, because you're like hurting my. Can you get down for a second? Mr. Ford, he knows that we got SWAC media in a couple more weeks. You can't be over here talking about folks need to be let go and this, that, and the third. Hold your horses, Mr. Ford. Mr. Ford, that is a hill that he is going to die on in terms of us saving the MEAC. Listen, this is what I think should happen. Yes, they do need new leadership, but I think maybe if the MEAC was able to, I don't know, negotiate a contract with HBCU Go, maybe that will increase some of their numbers, especially with I don't even know if HBCU Go does have something with MEAC.
Wait,
I don't think they
someone
do,
said
though.
a question. Someone asked a question for me.
Someone has a question for you?
Yeah.
Okay, wait, let me see something real quick.
Are you sure now?
I don't think they have a thing with them. So I'm not saying like try to mimic the SWAC, but I do. Braxton, can you please stop hanging on me?
What's your horse sound? Nah. Nah.
Oh Lord. Anyway, I was trying to say something. Oh, I think the HBCU Go and MEAC needs a partnership. Braxton, please stop hanging on me. Thank you. Good Lord. Okay, let me remove you. Move it up, 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 up. Okay, thank you.
Step on the wire.
HBCU Go is going to be the classic football games main showcase. Yeah, like especially with Deshaun Jackson and Mike Vick coming to the MEAC, that would have been an instant negotiating bargaining chip, if you will, for HBCU Go and the MEAC. That would have been, prime time for them to, get a deal. What is with all these books? Miseducation of the Black Child. Who is that by? Miseducation of the Black Child. Got it. Ooh. So I want to say this, which, probably something that we're going to have to go right on into, and that is we did not get to go over the Valley athletes. We did not get to go over Prairie View. Some of these rosters aren't necessarily up yet. And stop playing. So what I want to do is I might come on Thursday. I might come on Thursday, and I want to go over the rest of these young men, just pull up their profile and see what they're working with and just read it. It says, look at their current schedule, and they have all the classic games so far. Okay. So the ESPN and ABC might have pulled it, but, I'm surprised Bama State doesn't have Body on there. He was there last year. So anyway, we're going to go over the rest of these young men because once Mr. Ford got in here and Wild Wayne, which of course thank both of them for coming up here, I wasn't able to kind of like reel it back. We were just going all over the place, which is fine. I love having that open dialogue and the ability to just talk about whatever. So thank you, Tiger Nation. Like always, we love that you guys come in here and chat with us. SWAC Media Day. So I'm waiting to hear back on whether or not I'm approved credentials. It's been a tumultuous year. So since last SWAC Media Day. So hopefully I'll get that response back. Once I get that response back, we're all a go. I'll be taking donations, but not just yet. I'm going to wait until I have the confirmation that I am approved to go to SWAC Media Day. Yes, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Do you have anything you want to say, Braxton? Aside from you hanging on me? Are we just going to glaze over the unsigned contracts for... Are we going to glaze over the unsigned contracts for Devils versus Snakes Sin Bowl? First of all, Thetis, why are you calling it the Sin Bowl? Secondly, allegedly, they have not signed. Allegedly. You know, me personally, I'm not getting ready to make that type of announcement until the contracts are signed. There's a lot of folks that when they doing business, they'll make an announcement before the contract is signed, just off of someone saying yes, but not actually have a contract signed in black and white. Yes, please join and become a member of the channel. I think I'm getting ready to release a special membership for SWAC Media Day, where you have to be a member in order to be in the chat during SWAC Media Day. Because we had some folks cutting up that know better. They know better because they have their own channels, and I'm pretty sure they would never do that type of stuff when they have a channel where they're interviewing coaches or whomever. I'm sure they wouldn't act like that in the chat. But anyway, that might be a members only. The chat might be members only, seriously, for SWAC Media Day. Devils versus Repent. Y'all come up with some names in the chat. We got the Sin Bowl, Devils versus Repent Bowl, Devils versus Serpent. Yes, and they showed they tired their natural black asses, didn't they? Cutting up. So it might be, it's more than likely 99.9% going to be a members only chat during the SWAC Media Day, because we do not want to have what happened last year to repeat. So that'll keep folks from commenting.
Can you shuffle this?
Yes. Never trust a snake or the devil. So I think that probably what happened and what transpired with Valley and FAMU is maybe when the stuff came out with the, with the AD, there were some loose ends that were supposed to be tied. And then when that happened, it kind of put a hold off on things. Yay! I'm hoping,
yay,
because nephew said he got his membership.
where?
I am hoping that that's resolved, because I think that particular game would have been really great for both Valley and FAMU. For Valley, that's like a money game. And for folks saying, why would you trade a home game? Like, the revenue is going to be significantly higher for that particular game in Atlanta than it probably would be in Valley. And they had no problem whooping up on them at home in Tallahassee last year. So I think it was, and then another thing is the young men from Valley get a chance to play in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
What's the Mercedes-Benz Stadium?
That's in Atlanta, the football stadium.
Atlanta. Atlanta.
Yeah, that way. So the Valley, they get to play in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which if you walk in that stadium, it's a really nice opportunity. So especially for the new head coach there, that's a great opportunity for them. All right, y'all, I'm not going to make any promises. I might be back Thursday, and then if I'm not back on Thursday, then I'll be back on Saturday. And if I am back on Thursday, I'm not going to be here for Saturday. They want you to sing it, Brax.
What?
Where's Jackson State going in December?
Atlanta.
Julanta, that's right. Jacklanta. Oh. Who you got? Who's going to the Celebration Bowl?
Jacklanta.
Jackson State?
Yeah.
Okay, but who's coming from the MEAC? You don't really know the MEAC teams like that. The MEAC football teams, I'm going to pull them up. Who do you think's going? Out of all these, which one?
Norfolk State.
You think Norfolk State's going?
Yeah.
You gonna say both?
Or Delaware State.
Oh, that's what you think?
Yeah.
Norfolk State or Delaware State is gonna be representing the MEAC in the Celebration Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
You gonna behold
the green and gold.
You see what he said? He said, behold
the green and gold.
All right, y'all. Everybody, it's midnight. Y'all have a good night. We will see you here back on we coming back on Thursday.
It's not midnight. It's 11 p.m.
No, it's not. It's 11:59.
Yeah, but it's not 12.
It will be in like 30 seconds. Say goodnight.
30 seconds?
Yep. Say 30 in 30 seconds. Y'all have a good night. And for all the folks in the chat, let me remind you what Jackson State put on y'all all last year.
Hello. Welcome back to Lessons with Kobe. Today, we will be learning the term belt to ass in sign language. First, we're going to break it down. Stay with me. Belt to ass. One more time. Belt to ass. Together now. Belt to ass. And that concludes my lesson. See you.
I've had some weary days and some sleepless nights, but when I look around, and I think things over, all of my good days through my bad days. I won't complain. The clouds hang low. I can hardly see the road. I ask the question, Lord. Lord, why so much pain? But He knows one day from me. Although my weary eyes, they can't see. So I'll just say, thank you, Lord. I won't complain. That's been so good to me. He's been good to me. More than this world I could ever be. He's been so good. But He knows one day from me. Although my weary eyes, they can't see. So I'll just say, thank you, Lord.